Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The brothers are in the lobby, in the back. We request you, inshallah, if you're planning to attend the seminar, you can please come close together. If you need to use a chair, you can bring your chair up so we all are part of the gathering, inshallah. Request our sisters as well who are present here for the gathering to sit close together, inshallah, as is the etiquette of all gatherings of knowledge, gatherings of dhikr, that we sit close together as much as possible to the source of the knowledge that we are receiving. And mashallah, I see a couple brothers here with their notebooks. And that's exactly how we should be here, alhamdulillah. This is a educational as well as, of course, spiritual, but it's an educational seminar. This is where we're going to be taking notes. This is where we get a chance to ask questions. If we are going to be writing, there's a much higher chance of us understanding and retaining. Otherwise, it will just go, it'll be a one year, out the other year type of thing. So we recommend everyone, inshallah, to please do take notes. To the best of your ability. If you need some paper or notebook, you can ask them, inshallah, and maybe in the office if they might have to be able to provide for you. But kindly, if those brothers and sisters who are listening live stream as well, take a moment to get yourself a pen and a paper and to take notes. And make this a habit throughout your journey as well, inshallah, for the Hajj journey. And this program is being live streamed from our website, masjidds.org. So if you have family members and friends who you think would benefit from this type of seminar, please do share it with them. This is not meant for people going from any specific Hajj group, nor is it meant for people only going for this year. Rather, for anyone who is going to be going at any time, inshallah, who wants to go, they can attend. Just this morning, I met a brother who told me that I'm going to be live streaming in or attending today's seminar, and I've been doing so every single Darul Salam seminar. And then he told me, subhanAllah, I've been doing this for years. Never had the means to ever go for Hajj. And I didn't even sign up for a package until literally it fell in my lap. Someone said, we need someone to go with us for Hajj to coordinate things. Can you please come? And he said, I was just bewildered that this gift came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to me. But he attributed that to attending all the Hajj seminars regularly and making lots of dua at the end of the seminar. Ya Allah, this is what I could do. I couldn't go for Hajj, but I came to the seminar. I listened to the talk, I got motivated, I made dua. And I kept on doing this year after year after year, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really actually took me for Hajj. So I would recommend you to share this link, the masjidds.org link, with family, friends as well. Many who have to perform Hajj. It is obligatory upon them, but they have not made the intention yet. So maybe listening to this seminar will be a motivation for them. So before we begin, inshallah, today's program, officially, I'd like to invite Hafiz Farhan, who is a student of the 7th year, here, the final year of the Alim program, the Takmil program, inshallah, to recite a passage of the Quran to start off today's Mubarak, blessed event, inshallah. Jazakumullahu Khairun.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال في الحج وما تفعلوا من خير يعلمه الله وتزودوا فإن خير الزاد التقوى واتقون يا أولي الألباب ليس عليكم جناح أن تبتغوا فضلا من ربكم فإذا أفضتم من عرفات فاذكروا الله عند المشعر الحرام واذكروه كما هداكم وإن كنتم من قبله لمن الضالين ثم أفيضوا من حيث أفاض الناس واستغفروا الله إن إن الله غفور رحيم فإذا قضيتم مناسككم فاذكروا الله كذكركم آباءكم أو أشد ذكرا فمن الناس من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا وما له في الآخرة من خلاق ومنهم من يقول ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار أولئك لهم نصيب مما كسبوا والله سريع الحساب واذكروا الله في أيام معدودات فمن تعجل في يومين فلا إثم عليه ومن تأخر فلا إثم عليه لمن اتقى واتقوا الله واعلموا أنكم إليه تحشرون صدق الله العظيم.
Inshallah, next we'll have Jazakumullahu Khairun for that beautiful recitation of such a beautiful passage of the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to truly appreciate the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the aspects of Arafat and making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the aspect of Hajj and the etiquettes that are mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow all of us to become from amongst those who implement that within our lives. Ameen. Inshallah, next we'll have Hafidh here, Mustafa Ali, who is a student of the third year of the Alim program, alhamdulillah, from Bolingbrook. Inshallah, he will recite a poem with regards to the sacred lands.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجى من وافراته है नूर सहर चेहरे से तेरे और शब की रौनक जुल्फों से अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह अल्लाहु अल्लाहु अल्लाह कंजुल करमी मौला निअमी हादिल उममी लिशरीअतिही नेमत का खजीना है मौला गंजीना रे शादी है तमामी उम्मत के और रहनुमा है शरीअत के। अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह अल्लाहु अल्लाहु अल्लाह सअद शजर नतqa الحجر شق القمر بإشارته उंगली के इशारे पैर चले एजाज से पत्थर बोल उठे और चांद हुआ है दो टुकड़े अंगुष्ठ के एक इशारे से। अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह जिब्रील अता लैलत असरा ورب دعاه لحضرته जिब्रील आमीन पैगाम में खुदा लेकर आए थे शबे असरा। अल्लाह ने अर्श पे बुलवाया कुर्बत का शरफ उनको बख्शा। अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह फमुहम्मदुना हुवा सय्यिदुना फल्इज़्ज़ु लना लिइजाबतिही। सो मुहम्मद है अपने आका इसी नाम से अपनी इज़्ज़ बक़ा। अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह अल्लाहु 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 अल्लाह। الصبح بدا من طلعته والليل دجى من وفرته है नूर सहर चेहरे से तेरे और शब की रौनक जुल्फों से। Allahu, 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 Allah, Allahu, 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 Allah. Jazakullahu Khairun.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا أما بعد. My respected elders, brothers, mothers and sisters, once again we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has allowed us to come here, because we cannot attend a gathering like this in His house without His permission, without His invitation. Invitations can be given out by humans, but the actual invitation, the most important invitation, and the invitation that really counts is the invitation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And once we receive that, then we can easily attend any such gathering. So we thank Allah for inviting us here today. And we ask Allah that He allows us to continue to invite us to His homes throughout the world, in our local areas, our local masjid repeatedly, and allow us eventually to also be invited to the house in Makkah al-Mukarramah. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Many of us here are planning to go this year, inshaAllah ta'ala, for Hajj. And that is why we are here. And so that's standard. And there are the others who are not yet planning to go, but they are attending here. These are the planners, mashallah, in advance, that they are coming here a year in advance. I just met one brother here, young brother. He says he's not going this year, but he's here taking notes to ensure that when the time comes, he is prepared. So those are the, mashallah, people who are actually doing the correct job, that a year in advance they are preparing for this amazing journey. Just like for marriages and weddings, people prepare so much in advance, and no one prepares a week in advance. The trip to the Haramain al-Sharifain is the biggest journey of our lifetime. And this should definitely be, preparation should be made well in advance. And we hope all of us here have been making those preparations. I am going to be sharing with you a few words on some basic guidelines for our journey. And then Mufti bin Hajj, inshallah, will do a more detailed PowerPoint presentation of the actions and the a'mal that we should be doing while in Medina, as well as, of course, the important aspect of Umrah, and followed by at the end through Hajj. What are the things to be done in Hajj? For a disclaimer should be mentioned that this presentation, for this gathering for an hour and 2 hours, most definitely is not sufficient for our journey. This is one of hopefully many seminars that you will be attending or listening, hopefully one of many lectures that you will be listening, and books that you will be reading. It is difficult for us to prepare for such a magnanimous journey through and attending a 2-hour program. But inshallah, this is just a start. First and foremost is that our intention has to be pure on this journey. We are not, what we are going to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He said, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. It is for Allah an obligation upon people that they should perform the Hajj. مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا, whoever is capable of making the journey out to Baytullah. This verse here, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ, it is an obligation upon people, وَلِلَّهِ, for the sake of Allah. The ulama explain the relationship of Hajj and the being of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's as though you'd say in Urdu, ke mere liye, meri zaat ke liye, I would like you to do something. All of a sudden it has a much more significance to it when someone says, can you do this for me? So Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying that I want you to perform the Hajj for me. This is something you're doing for me. And when you're doing something for someone, then you don't make a fuss about it. When someone decides to do something for his mother or his wife or his son or daughter or whatnot, most definitely difficulties will come. Whether you want to buy a bicycle, you want to buy a cake, you want to do something, take them out for somewhere. But imagine every moment you're grunting. Look, we had to come to get you your bicycle. Look at this. Now look, you keep on counting your favors. No one wants that. By the end of the journey, they'll say, we don't want that. You try to do that with our own parent. Al-a'yadhu billah. Keep on thinking and counting the difficulties you're having in fulfilling some small request of theirs. And then by the end of this, they will say, you'd rather keep this to yourself. एहसान जतलाना, अगर एहसान जतलाना हो तो हमें नहीं चाहिए. हमारी गैरत कबूल नहीं करती है कि आप हमारे लिए कुछ करें. जब अगर एहसान जतलाना ही हो तो नहीं चाहिए. If you're going to sit there and count your favors, I'd rather not have it. SubhanAllah, this is humans with each other. Imagine with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah is saying, I have given you this opportunity to visit my house and you're doing it for me, then indeed how sinful and how unaccepting it is for a person to complain and say, Allah, I'm doing this, I had to pay this much, and this happened, my baggage got lost, and again, this happened, that happened. All those type of things is similar to someone counting their favors when they do something for their relative or friend or beloved one. And no one likes that. So this is our Lord, Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal. We have to be extremely careful. Our intention is, Ya Allah, I'm doing this for you, only for you. You gave me the wealth, you gave me the health, you gave me the opportunity, and you've asked me to come visit. Let us refocus on this intention. That when we get excited, when someone gets invited rather to a president or a prime minister's home, it is regarded as such a huge honor that people will, if they met the president at some place or some time, or were invited to some the presidential home, people take pictures and they take signatures and they take pictures of them shaking hands. It becomes such a big thing. They hang it in their homes. Why? Because I got invited. Not everyone gets invited. Very chosen people gets invited. So when a person gets invited to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's house, subhanallah, it's such a huge honor that we should be elated that Allah, because of whom I fasted the days in Ramadan, that Allah who I have calculated my zakat for past 40 years, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whom I have gotten up every day for Fajr and prayed, now it's my chance to go visit His home. It's amazing. Think about it like that. Why else are we doing something? Why else are we staying away from sin? Why else are we doing things the right way? To the best of our ability, is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now you and I are being invited to His house. So this is something that is an honor, huge honor, if we think it of that sort, that this is a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and that this is something I don't deserve. Intention is the key thing. One alim, he summed up this journey and he said that ये जो है राब्ता का सफ़र है, राब्ता का सफ़र बनाओ, ज़ाब्ता का सफ़र मत बनाओ. This journey is a journey of love. It is a journey at every moment we have to be expressing our love to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't make this a journey of simply fulfilling the rights, commandments. Karna tha to, just tick mark. I have to do my Hajj, I have to do my Umrah, so I'm doing it for the sake of doing it. No one likes this clock in, clock out type of person. We cannot clock in our Hajj and clock out our Hajj. At every instance, it has to be more about rabta, about my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my ta'alluq, showing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala my love at every moment. So let us not become mechanical. Let us not become mechanical about our Hajj. This happens sometimes because we are so focused on just, okay, what's next? It's as though it's an event. We're attending some type of training, some type of course. We want to know what's next. We get so focused on logistics that we forget the complete spirit of Hajj. Logistics is there, it's true. But let us not forget what the muhabba and the love that has to be expressed by us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every moment. That goes back to the intention. Whose house am I going? It's an honor for me that I got invited. This trip should be a journey of connection with Allah, not simply just fulfilling the rights. Then, after the intention, a first thing that a person should be doing, after of course we've already selected the group and so forth, that's already done there, a person should ensure that before we head out for our journey, we should look at our life and see, what is it about my life that's not right? What if I had an opportunity instantly and someone said, I have an ability to come and change your life immediately, what do you not like about it? What are the things that you think are just you're tired of it? Beard has become white, hair has become white, your knee pain has started, and now still I've got these huge flaws within me. Okay, when am I ever going to change? I thought I'll change when I hit 20. I thought I'll change when I hit 30. I thought I'll change when I get married. I thought I'll change at my first child. I thought I'll change at my second child. I thought I'll change when my children start going to school and college. And now they're married. And now they have kids. And I feel that those things haven't gone away. When you realize and you envision yourself that these are the things that are lacking. These are the changes that you want to make within your life. Those are the things you want to put down from now. And say, inshallah ta'ala, through this journey of Hajj, I'm going to try to address these things and try to change these things from the very get-go. As I would like to say that whatever changes we would like to see after Hajj, Am I blocking the vision? Please go through this. Okay. So, where was I? Whatever changes we want to see after Hajj, we have to start now. This is seriously a very important point. May Allah grant me and all of us here the ability to practice this. Whatever we want to see that I want to get rid of this habit. You have now 1 week. Inshallah, my journey and with many of you will be in next Sunday. And some others will be going next day. It's just maximum you're going to be leaving in the next 10 to 12 or 2 weeks. 10 days to 2 weeks. So this is the time in the remaining 10 days. If you say, I'm feeling really guilty that I'm not able to perform even one salah in the masjid, or I'm missing a salah, Allah forbid, I'm not able to sit with the Quran for even 10 minutes a day. Okay, well, this is the time. The next 10 days, whatever changes we want to make after Hajj, we have to start from now. And sins and mistakes, problems related to our character, related to our a'mal, related to our finances, mistakes that we know we are doing. This is the time to say, for the next 10 days, I'm going to go cold turkey on these things. Because otherwise it's not going to happen when we come back from Hajj. We have to start from now. Start from now. This is something that people have told me has been a very big benefit to them. When they heard this piece of advice, and they said, we practiced this, and it really became so much easy. Because if you can do it now, inshallah, there'll be a higher chance that when you come back after Hajj, motivated from 2 to 3 week journey, it'll be easy for you to implement the do's and stay away from the don'ts. When it comes to the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then this is the time before we leave on our journey to start making Salatul Tawbah and Salatul Hajjah. Salatul Hajjah, 2 rakat Salatul Hajjah every single day. Ya Allah, make my upcoming journey easy and accepted. 2 rakat Salatul Hajjah. You perform your normal 2 rakat like nafil. You raise your hand and you praise Allah, send salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and perform and recite this Salatul Hajjah dua, which you can find in the dua books. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hajjah means need, the dua, prayer of need. And you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, my need is that my Hajj should be accepted and that it should be done with ease and comfort. We're not going to ask Allah to make our Hajj difficult. No, we would like it to be done beautifully, nicely, comfortably. Key thing, but accepted one. And then along with that, either with the same 2 rakah or a separate 2 rakah, you make intention of tawbah. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our major and minor sins against Him and against the deen. So how do we do tawbah? We seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, feel remorseful about it, make an intention never to go back to that sin and immediately leave it. Let me rephrase it. Immediately leave the sin, feel remorseful about it, and make a determination never to go back to it again. And if it's related to human beings, then we need to seek forgiveness from them. Usually we receive mass text messages around this time, asking people saying that I'm going for Hajj, please forgive me, type of thing. Like we receive mass Eid messages. So that is really not going to do the job. If we know who we have hurt, there's no point in sending in a broadcast message. Okay, so if you don't know and you want to do something generally, then that's I'm not sure if I've hurt you in any way, shape, or form. Please bring it to my attention if I have, and I would like to personally come and seek forgiveness from you. But those that we know we have had problems with, this is an opportunity to personally message them and say, I know I've done this, or for some reason you're upset at me. I would like you to please forgive me at this occasion. Or if there's any way I can make it up to you before I leave, I would love to do that because I am going on my journey for Hajj. So decade-long feuds and fights and arguments that have taken place within even siblings. This is the time, the opportune time to sort those things out before we go for Hajj. Really important. Silatul Rahim, getting along with our relatives, is a key time to do that right now in the next 10 days. Because otherwise problems are qubuliyya of our Hajj. If we have taken away, usurped someone's rights, we don't even know to what extent will our Hajj be accepted. And the preparation that you have, logistical preparation that you're doing, bags, I'm sure you have received a list of things from your Hajj group operator of what you need, etc. That's there. Alhamdulillah, you can pack light. You know, there's everything available over there. Majority of things are available there nowadays with the huge malls. But one thing we need to pack a lot, which you might not be able to find over there in the midst of your journey, is sabr, is patience. A lot of patience in every single bag. And this will make our journey very easy. The journey does not start in the last 5 days in Hajj when you're in Ihram. The journey starts as soon as you leave your home on the way to the airport. So when you arrive at the airport, have patience. At the line, have patience. In the waiting to board the plane, don't try to rush and cut the line. Perform your fard salah. What is the point of our Hajj if we're going to be missing our fard salah at the airport, the morning of, the day of, and in the plane, for example? There is no reason for us to be missing any time our salah anywhere. So proper arrangement has to be made. Pray in a proper corner, etc. Not hurting anyone's, not blocking the path, etc. But we need to ensure that in our journey, entire travels in the airports, bus stations, etc., we do not neglect our salah. I think this is, no matter how many times I say this, it's not enough. Just learn how to, do some deep breathing exercises and learn how to be calm and learn how to be patient. This key thing. The Mufti Sahibs and other ulama and scholars and logistical issues will always be taken care of, inshallah, in your group. But if you are, as we say, besabre, and you're just always impatient, you're going to make your own life very difficult. If you're always asking, what's next, then you're going to make your life difficult and you make everyone's life difficult. So please don't do that. Learn that, inshallah, as long as they told me to be here at 2 o'clock, I'll be there. If the bus is not here, trust me, the Hajj operator does not know when the bus is coming. I don't know it's coming. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows when this bus is going to come. And when it comes, it comes. And you will, if you're sitting at the right place, no one is going to leave you. Right? So you just sit there. You're on your journey right now. So why don't you open up your mushaf and start reading? Why don't you take your tasbih and start doing dhikr? Why don't you start doing talbiyah? Why don't you start reading an Islamic book? Because the journey is not, when you arrive at Mina, the actual Hajj, for those of you going first time, what is there to do? It's one tent with a bunch of other brothers in a small, cot or a small little bedding. Like, oh, it's. वहाँ भी वही करना है. That's what you have to do there. You're going to say, अच्छा 10 बज गए, अब क्या 11 बजे तक इंतजार करोगे, फिर 12 बजे तक. There's nothing going to happen there. You have to take out your own Quran, your own dhikr, and utilize your time to do ibadah besides a few bayans that we have. Okay, so if we don't have a habit of doing something, keeping ourselves busy, we're going to get very quickly bored, Allah forbid, in Hajj, and feel zoned out. So best is to start at O'Hare or whichever place of departure. That when you're waiting, make sure you have something in your hand. You're reading or doing dhikr, tilawah, dua, making up your qada salah. Take a musalla with you and stand and make up your qada salah, as many as you can. These are the ways to ensure that your Hajj trip is beautiful, is to keeping yourself busy the entire time. So being patient and so forth, and ensure that we're busy. What we suggest is that we make a list of, the way all of you are ready now, similarly make a list of du'as, the most important, pertinent du'as that you have, that you need to be addressed. Okay? And that is maybe up to, I would say, a list of possibly 50 du'as. Alhamdulillah, we took a student Umrah group last year, and I encouraged all the students to sit in groups and start writing. And alhamdulillah, in the airplane to the entire journey from here till our Abu Dhabi, everyone was just writing. And they had the full list, 3-4 pages long of du'as for that week journey. So we're going for Hajj now. We have to ensure that we have a list of du'as at every journey. Musafir ki dua वैसे भी कबूल होती है. The traveler's dua is anyway accepted. On top of that, you're on a journey of Hajj. Your dua, inshallah, will definitely be accepted. It's not going to come naturally. For a lot of us, after 5-10 minutes of dua, we start forgetting. And we start wondering, bas ho gaya na, it's done, I've done enough, let me put my hand down. But if you start thinking that what are all the issues of my son, my daughter, my sister, my sisters, my brothers, my parents, about the ummah, about my community, a job, all sorts of issues. You will have very easily 100 issues. Do we not have 100 problems? We have more than that. But now, at the time, in Arafat, Mina, Muzdalifah, when you see the Kaaba, when you're in Medina Munawwara, after every salah, those are the times the du'as to be accepted. If you have the notebook, you pull it out, and mashallah ta'ala, you start going through this every single day. Kahin na kahin wo din qubuliyat ka to mil jayega na. Of course, one day you'll get that qubul when your dua is accepted, and all your 100, inshallah, or 200, or however many you got, will get accepted. So this is some few pieces of advice that I want to share. There's definitely things, inshallah, in Medina when we arrive first, or other places as well. We'll continuously be sharing things for those of us who have not, who are not traveling with us. I repeat the fact that please do visit. I would suggest one is Maulana Yunus Patel, rahimahumullah, rahmatan wasi'ah, from South Africa. Sheikh Yunus Patel, rahimahullah. He has a website, his bayans rather, in the masjidnoor.org, I think so, or just Masjid Noor in South Africa, in Durban. If you type his name down, Maulana or Sheikh Yunus Patel, Hajj, and Umrah bayans. List of all his Hajj bayans will come in English. Though that is an amazing inspiration. If you could listen through those before the journey. Of course, in Urdu, there are many other ulama whose talks are available regarding Hajj. But for the English speakers, I would recommend for you to listen to Sheikh Yunus Patel's talks. Alhamdulillah, Allah blessed him Umrah in Tawaf, and after Maghrib Salah in front of the Kaaba, he passed away. And that's how he passed away a few years ago. A very righteous person, alhamdulillah, and his talks for Hajj are phenomenal. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow myself and all of us here to follow the etiquette of Hajj. On the way out, make sure you purchase your own copy. Not share your wife's, because then you'll sit there arguing over which book, who's going to use at what time. It's okay, this is a packet of books of Umrah and Hajj books. Useful advice for travelers to the Haramain. Make sure you read the entire thing today or tomorrow. Don't wait for when you arrive there. Make sure you read this now, please. And then the rest of the books that are there based on where we're going. In Medina or Makkah, you can read it definitely before. Do not start reading this when you get onto the plane, my brothers. Start reading it. Make one round of the books, especially the Medina one. And as well as if you're going Medina first. If you're going Makkah first, then read the Makkah one. And then this one, useful advice for travelers of the Haramain. Read it cover to cover. It's not that many pages, 20 pages or so. As many times as you can, 1 or 2 times. And then there's important advice is shared over there. Including the limited use of cell phones and ensuring that we control our nafs and desire to take pictures of every single thing. Okay? So this is a sacred place. We want to ensure that we're not tourists. That's how a tourist does. Tourist does this, and video camera everywhere. If you're going on a tourist, that you should expect tourist reception from Allah. And if you say, no, you are a zair and you're a visitor out of the love of Allah, who's madly in love of Allah, visiting the Prophet's city and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's home, then you'll be treated like that. So you don't want to be treated like some random tourist from National Geographic taking pictures. They have already nice pictures available on Google Images if you didn't check. Right? They have a lot of good pictures there, better than us. Please do not utilize this time. Repeat again and again. Do not use this time to be just going photographing everywhere. Especially because jo cheez aam ho jati hai, phir uski burai bhi nikal jati hai. Since this becomes so common, people do not mind people taking, someone is at Hajj al-Aswad. He's about to kiss, and I'm telling you, I saw this with my own eyes. He's taking a selfie of himself while about to kiss, and then he almost gets himself killed and someone else killed. Someone is holding onto the Kaaba. He's there. You see, you're so lucky. Out of 2-3 million people, Allah allowed you to reach this area of the Kaaba, but not without a selfie. And using that time. Why does it happen? Everyone's doing it. Old men with white beards, women with niqab, everyone is doing the selfie business. Okay, and taking pictures of inside, trying to take a picture of the Rawdah of where Rasulullah ﷺ is resting. These are highest levels of disrespect. Highest levels of disrespect. I don't know what's going to happen. Really, when you think Asman kab girega, when you see things like this. So now our job is not to give fatwas to other people. You don't worry about what's happening to others. And don't start coming back and coming with stories, oh, I saw this, that. Hum nahi kare, hamare saathi na kare. Let me not do it, let me not. Others, make ta'wil, baichara, mashallah, wo ashiq hai, he doesn't know how to express his love. Kuch bhi soch le, make some ta'wil in your mind for that person. Let's not say ye fasiq hai, fajir hai, bure log hai, they're disrespectful. That's not, we don't know who is bura and acha in the eyes of Allah. But as a rule for ourselves, let us not utilize our time in the Haramain to take pictures of all these places, especially when we're doing ibadah. So inshallah, there's much more can be said, I said, but listen to the speeches of one Yunus Patel, inshallah ta'ala, and I hope Allah Azza wa Jal grants myself and all of us an accepted journey, and that we come back rejuvenated in a state that our sins are forgiven as the day when we were born. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين ومن تبعهم بإحسان ودعا بدعوتهم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So inshallah we have a lot to cover. One is the niyyah that we should have, and one is the intention and the spiritual dimension. Mufti Azimuddin touched on some of those. I will be trying to primarily go over the fiqh of the journey and the how do we perform the Hajj. Majority of the groups are going to Medina first, so we'll go through the Medina slides first, and then we'll go inshallah and go over the Umrah and Hajj afterwards. So depending on your group, either way, it's beneficial. There's a positive in both aspects. One view is that now it's already decided, so you do not have to be making the decision at this point. Whatever your group is scheduled, if you're doing Makkah first and going to Medina after Hajj, then your positive way of thinking would be that I go to the house of Allah first, then I go to the grave of Rasulullah second. You could be thinking that I will visit where Rasulullah was born first, then I will visit where he was buried second. You can also be thinking that, La ilaha illallah comes first, then Muhammad Rasulullah. Naturally, Allah comes first, then Rasulullah. So you visit the house of Allah, purify yourself of sins, and get forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كَيَوْمٍ رَجَعَ كَيَوْمٍ وَلَدَتْهُ أُمُّهُ مَنْ حَجَّ فَلَمْ يَرْفُثْ وَلَمْ يَفْسُقْ رَجَعَ كَيَوْمٍ وَلَدَتْهُ أُمُّهُ. The one who performs Hajj and he does not commit sins and obscenities and disobedience of Allah in his Hajj, he will return like the day his mother gave birth to him. So you purify yourself of the sins, and then you go visit the Darbar-e-Risalat, the court of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is something very positive way of looking at it. On the other hand, if your group is such that you are going to Medina first, then you're going to say, you're climbing up, you're going first to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, get spiritually elevated, gain the barakah of visiting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, gaining the shafa'ah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then you're taking the next step up to go to the court of Allah directly after that. And another positive way of looking at it, if you're going to Medina first, is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed only one Hajj in Islam, and when he was in Madinah Munawwara for the first 8 years, Makkah al-Mukarramah was controlled by the mushrikeen. In the 8th year, the Fatih Makkah occurred. In the 9th year, he sent a delegation led by Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu, and the announcement made by Ali radiallahu anhu that the mushrikeen should not come for Hajj next year. That was a mixed Hajj, it was a hybrid Hajj, the Muslim Hajj and the mushrikeen Hajj together. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما المشركون نجس فلا يقربوا المسجد الحرام بعد عامهم هذا. All those who believe, the mushrikeen, they have an impure religion of shirk and idolatry, polytheism. They should not come near the Masjid al-Haram بعد عامهم هذا, after this year. That announcement was made, narrated by Allah in Surah Tawbah. Then the next year, 10th year, Rasulullah ﷺ did Hajj from Medina. And a few months after returning, he passed away in the 11th year, Rabiul Awwal. Muharram, Zul Hajjah, he did Hajj, of course. Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, he passed away. 2 months, few days. So, when you go to Medina first, then when you are going on Hajj, you are retracing the steps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are आप कुर्सी पे बैठ जाएंगे आराम से, आप आराम से कुर्सी पे, ठीक है, अगर आप कुर्सी पे बैठना चाहें कुर्सी पे. So if you are actually retracing the steps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are performing Hajj in the exact same manner. Where he put the ihram on in Dhul Hulayfa, also known as Bir Ali, you will be donning the ihram at the same place. And the highway that you'll be taking is pretty much the same route as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam took for Hijrah. There's an old road, the old caravan route from Makkah to Medina is different. It goes through Maqam Ibwa, where Amina alayhi salam, Bibi Amina, the mother of Rasulullah is buried. It's a different route. This is the route of the Hijrah. That is the route where the highway is. So you'll be going through the route of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, retracing his steps. He did he did Hajj from Medina to Makkah, and you are also doing Hajj from Medina to Makkah. So there is positives both ways. I believe majority of the groups are going to Medina before Hajj. Is there anyone going to Medina after Hajj? You're going to Medina after Hajj? Subhanallah, okay. That's very rare for the US groups. So that's why we'll talk about ziyarah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in al-Masjid al-Nabawi. Ala sahiba al-Salam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some of the virtues of visiting Medina in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grave. In our Yasin Hajj group, I have already shared this PowerPoint before you even ask. The whole PowerPoint, I put it on the WhatsApp group. The one that I'm on, those who are in the other groups, we can forward it to the other groups. There are several different WhatsApp groups created. I just a few moments ago shared this on the WhatsApp group. So you'll have access to the PowerPoint. It doesn't mean you stop paying attention now that you have it. Continue to pay attention, inshallah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man zarani, whoever visits me, then wajabat lahu shafa'ati, my intercession will become incumbent on him on the day of judgment." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intercede in our behalf, inshallah. And if you gain the intercession of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we can hope for, inshallah, forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Man zarani ba'da wafati ba'da mamati fakannama zarani fi hayati. Whoever visits me after I pass away is like the one who visited me in my lifetime. Whoever offers 40 salat consecutively in my masjid, this is a longer program. 40 salat is 5 salat a day. Alright? So, 8 days without missing a prayer in between will secure immunity from the fire of Jahannam and from all other punishments and freedom from nifaq. This is a great virtue. If you can do it in Hajj, that would be great. Or afterwards, we can even go in Umrah and perform 40 salat in the Masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should make a trip just to gain this reward. If you are not able to do it in this Hajj, at least keep this hadith in mind so we can eventually gain this reward and acquire this virtue. That's why the scholars, they say that, we need to make at least minimum of 3 trips to Haramain. One is the Hajj, which is the farad. أتم الحج والعمرة لله ولله على الناس حج البيت. This is a faridah, it's an obligation, it's a pillar of our deen. There's no way out, we have to. Second is to make a umrah in Ramadan. It's like the one who made umrah with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The suhoor in the fasting in Makkah and Medina, the iftar in the haram, the taraweeh. You don't find that outside Ramadan. There's no taraweeh outside Ramadan. There's no taraweeh Hajj time. The qiyam al-layl, the whole experience of Ramadan, Eid in the haram. You come by the Kaaba for Fajr Salah and then you stay and perform the Eid after Ishraq time, return. That is a unique experience and a unique virtue. It is like performing Umrah with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these are 2 trips, must-haves. And then the third one is that something you will get that you will not get in Hajj and you will not get Umrah in Ramadan. What is left? Third trip is a complete off-season trip. You'll have a very unique experience, that which you will not find in Hajj and you will not find in Umrah and Ramadan. In both of these scenarios, it's difficult to get into the Hatim by the Kaaba, difficult to kiss the Hajr al-Aswad, it's difficult to go to the Riyadh al-Jannah to perform Salah in that area of Masjid al-Nabawi, which has been given the honor by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ma baina qabri wa minbari rawdatan min riyadh al-Jannah. That area between my grave and my minbar is the garden from the gardens of Jannah. To be able to go there, perform salat with ease. All of these hard to get to places are going to naturally be completely overcrowded and very difficult to access, but still possible if you try. With the exception of Hajr al-Aswad. Hatim is still possible in Hajj. Riyadh al-Jannah is possible in Hajj. But Hajr al-Aswad, kissing the Hajr al-Aswad is not really impossible practically. So for this, you have to go in an off-season time, when before the rush of the Umrah comes. Then you will have the opportunity to kiss Hajr al-Aswad in every shot, in every circumambulation. You'll have the opportunity to perform in the Hatim inside the Kaaba, equivalent to performing inside the Kaaba. The Hatim is a semicircle attached to the Kaaba, which is originally part of the Kaaba. And Riyadh al-Jannah, and all of these hard to get to places, you will have comfort. So that is a third trip that we have to make. Our ulama have mentioned visiting the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the greatest of the non-obligatory actions. Min a'zamil qurbat. A person should intend visiting the grave of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and al-Masjid al-Nabawi. You can make the intention to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and visit the Masjid al-Nabawi both. Right. The references in the bottom are on all Arabic. قال مشايخنا رحمه الله تعالى إنها أفضل المندوبات وفي مناسك الفارسي وشرح المختار أنها قريبة من الوجوب لمن له ساعة. It is almost near wajib. Before entering Medina and upon entering Medina, what should be the state of our mind? We should focus and ponder on the sacrifices of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how much Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has done for us. Remember his favors and du'as for the ummah, how much we are indebted to him. Recite as much salawat as possible. What we should take care of necessary arrangements when you reach the blessed city. That means we should go to the hotel, offload our luggage and get it checked in, take a ghusl shower. Don't just rush straight from the airplane to the court of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is mustahab to perform ghusl, to wear one's best clothing. The man should apply perfume. The woman is prohibited to wear perfume when going outside, even though it's absolutely super common. Hard to imagine that it's impermissible, but it actually is, believe it or not, for a woman to wear perfume outside the home. And that's why it says men, meaning excluding women. And give some wealth in sadaqah before we go to the Masjid Nabawi. This is an aerial view. There's this ring road around Masjid Nabawi. It's not that clear, huh? Too much land. Okay, so if Usman Bhai, anyone can come and check and make it more clear. In the interim, there's a gate in the back. The women's sections are in the back. So Masjid Nabawi is like any other masjid in the sense that the sufuf are straight, and there's a qibla wall, and then there's a back wall, right wall, left wall. It's a rectangular shaped masjid. Masjid al-Haram in Makkah is very different. It's very unique in where the sufuf are circular. There's circular stuff. And the Kaaba, of course, is in between, right in the center. And there are a lot of different activities taking place in Makkah. Some people are doing tawaf, some people are doing sa'i, some people are performing salah. There's a lot of commotion, a lot of confusion, with a lot of people getting lost. Masjid Nabawi is more simple. The Roda in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in the Qibla direction. The Qibla is facing south. Madinatul Munawwara is north of Makkah. So the Qibla is facing south. And in the opposite to the Qibla direction, in the north side, in the northeast corner and the northwest corner, these two corners are the women's sections. So there is the main hotel area is in the back. It comes towards the women's section. It's closer. And you continue walking through, you get to the men's section. The green dome, of course, marks the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we enter Masjid Nabawi, we should walk with complete humility and the mind focused on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We should enter from Babi Jibreel if possible. This is where Jibreel alayhi salam would come with wahi. Bismillah wa ala millati Rasulillah Rabbi adkhilni mudkhala sidqin wa Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad wa aghfir li dhunubi wa aftah li ababa rahmatik wa fadlik. If you do not know the whole dua, we could just say Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah, and then Allahumma aftah li ababa rahmatik. Then oh Allah, open for me the doors of mercy, as we open the doors of the masjid. Perform 2 rakat salat tahiyatul masjid in the Rawda if possible, or anywhere convenient if it is not makruh time for salah. Provided it's not makruh time. Makruh time for nafil is after Fajr Salah till sunrise and after Asr Salah till sunset. These 2 times we will not perform nafil prayer. Make dua to Allah Ta'ala and thank Allah Ta'ala for granting us this favor of coming to visit Masjid Nabawi. So this is a picture of one of the doors of Masjid Nabawi. This is from the Turkish section. There's 2 pictures here. The one on the right is the new Saudi expansion doors, and the one on the left is the original doors from the Turkish expansion, from the Turkish era, from the Ottoman era. This is the internal plan of Masjid Nabawi. So there is one mihrab in the front. It's number 9. Can you see number 9? That number 9 is the mihrab of Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu. This was the expansion that was made by the time of Khalifa Uthman radiallahu anhu. Is the last expansion ever made in the Qibla direction. There has been no further expansion in the Qibla side. So where the Imam leads the Salah is the mihrab number 9. Now we'll see what they are doing now when they go. They have been performing it there since the time of Uthman radiallahu anhu all the time. But now, because of the rush of people going to make salam, recently they moved the mihrab back. After like 13 centuries, 14 centuries, literally. And they're going back to the original mihrab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they're leaving the front open for people to make salam on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam because of the traffic congestion. So any book you pick up, they will say, oh, this is where currently the Imam leads salah. But just a few months now, it has changed. They're going back to the original mihrab in the Riyadh al-Jannah, which is mihrab number, it shows here, number 7, mihrab in Musalla of Nabi. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mihrab was here in the Riyadh al-Jannah. Ma bayna qabri wa minbari rawdatun min Riyadh al-Jannah. Between the qabr of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the minbar, this is the garden of Jannah. Simple distinction for us is that the rest of the carpet of Masjid Nabawi is red. This area is whitish greenish, like a greenish white color. Inside the Roda, you have the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam first, with his face towards the Qibla, like it is sunnah for all the mayyat to be buried with the face towards the Qibla. Then after him, parallel to him, with slightly towards the left wall, towards the with his face towards the back of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. And then after him, number 3 is Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And the one space is left for Isa alayhi salam when he returns. This was the hujra of Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha. This whole area is covered with the golden walls that we can see through, but it is not appropriate to go there and start staring and trying to peek inside. We should be more respectful that we are standing in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the back of this is the house of Fatima radiallahu anha. This entire area is enclosed, not accessible. What is accessible behind that is the raised platform. This raised platform is the Sufa, which was the madrasa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu as a student. And you see that raised platform. You can still visit that. You can perform salah on it. And you can sit and make tilawah and study there, where the first madrasa of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was. And in the back here is where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to perform the tahajjud salah. There's a raised platform facing this golden wall. In the middle, there's a pillar where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to perform his tahajjud. There was a small mihrab in there that has now been covered by shelves with mushafs and Qur'ans. So you just see the top of the original mihrab. They covered it up. It's in the middle of this raised platform, facing the back of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the back of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you can get a chance to perform salah there, that is the exact place where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to perform his tahajjud. It is known as the mihrab of tahajjud, but it's hidden. This door here, on the bottom left, is the Bab Jibreel. This is where Jibreel alayhi salam used to enter from. In the front we have Babu Salam and Babu Baqir. Babu Salam is where you'll come in from to say salam to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you'll exit from Babu Baqir. The reason it's called Babu Baqir is because it is opposite Jannatul Baqir, the graveyard. When you're greeting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we should walk with total humility and ponder who we are about to meet, in whose presence we are going. Do not cast glances right or left. Keep our heart and mind totally focused on Allah and His Messenger. The gold wire mesh enclosures has round holes in them. So there's 3 areas. The first compartment is empty. The third compartment is empty. The graves are in the middle compartment. So we should not be pausing saying salam in the first one or the last one. It's in the middle one. Within the middle one, there's three holes. There's one bigger hole. This is the grave opposite the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the smaller one, second after that is Abu Bakr Siddiq. Third one is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in this picture you can see on the right you see the third compartment. On the left there is the first compartment. The bigger hole in the center, that is directly in line with the blessed face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then you have, it says on top, Huna assalamu ala Rasulillah in Arabic. This is where you say salam to Rasulullah. Then you'll say assalamu ala Abu Bakr, assalamu ala Umar. These are the holes which are directly perpendicular to the respective faces of these three great giants, Rasulullah and Abu Bakr and Umar. How do we say salam to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? With one's gaze lowered out of respect, a few yards away. We should say minimum as-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah. And if you have time, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. Assalamu alayka ya Habiballah. Ya khayra khalqillah. La ilaha illallah. Inni ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. I testify that there is no one worthy to worship besides Allah, the one who has no partner. Wa ashhadu annaka abduhu wa rasuluhu wa aminuh. And I testify you are his slave, his messenger, and you are trusted by Allah. أشهد أنك قد بلغت الرسالة وأديت الأمانة ونصحت الأمة وأوضحت الحجة وجاهدت في سبيل الله حتى أتاك اليقين. And we testify in favor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that, oh Allah, I testify that your Nabi has conveyed the message and transmitted the trust that he was given, and he was the well-wisher for the ummah, and he advised them, and he clarified the evidences and the dalil, the hujjah, and he strived in the path of Allah until death came to him. فَجَزَاكَ اللَّهُ عَنَّا خَيْرًا Jazakallahu anna afdala ma jaza nabiyan an ummati. So we ask Allah to further elevate your status and reward you, and compensate you for that which you have done for us, the best reward that any Nabi has been granted on behalf of their respective ummah. Then we take a few steps and say salam to Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Assalamu alayka ya Khalifata Rasulillah, O successor of the Messenger of Allah. Ya Sahib Rasulillah fil ghar, or his companion in the cave. Ya Rafiqahu fil asfar, or his companion in the journeys. Aminahu ala al-asrar, his trustworthy companion who carried his secrets. May Allah Ta'ala give you the reward better than that which any ummah have made dua for their imam. Ma jaza imaman an ummati nabi, wa laqad khalaftahu bi ahsani khalaf. You are the best successor to him. Wa salakta tariqahu wa minhajahu khayra maslak. And you practice upon his way in his methodology in the best manner. Wa qatalta ahla riddati wal bid'ah. And you fought against those who were the renegades, the apostates, the murtaddeen. And وَمَحَدْتَ الْإِسْلَامِ وَوَصَلْتَ الْأَرْحَامِ وَلَمْ تَزَلْ قَائِلًا الْحَقِّ نَاصِرًا لِأَهْلِهِ حَتَّى أَتَاكَ الْيَقِينِ. So you testify in his favor. فَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكَ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ. Then we say greetings to Umar radiallahu anhu. Again, Assalamu alayka ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, ya Mudhir al-Islam, the one who manifested Islam. May Allah reward you. فَلَقَدْ نَصَرْتَ الْإِسْلَامُ وَالْمُسْلِمِينَ حَيًّا وَمَيِّتًا. You helped Islam when you were alive, and you did so much, all of his praises. And after doing the three salams, then we face towards the Kaaba and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if there is space. Otherwise you might be pushed out. If you're pushed out, don't fight back. Just keep on moving, go further away from the rush, and then when you get a chance, turn towards the Kaaba and make dua and say, oh Allah, accept this salam upon your Rasul, and grant me the opportunity that the honor that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intercede on us. We talked about the inside of the blessed chamber already. A, grave of Rasulullah. B is grave of Abu Bakr. C is grave of Umar radiyallahu anhum sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where this wall ends in a triangle, opposite direction of the Kaaba, at the bottom, where that pillar is, that is where the Ustuwana of Tahajjud is, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mihrab of Tahajjud, where he used to perform the Tahajjud Salah. Behind that is the Sufa. You see this in the 11, where the mihrab, that's where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to perform his Tahajjud Salah. This is the green carpet of the Riyadh al-Jannah. Ma bayna qabri wa minbari rawdatun min Riyadh al-Jannah. On the right hand side, you see that double door, climb up that minaret, that mimbar. That is from the Turkish era. That is where the exact mimbar of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to be. This is the Garden of Jannah. Now each of these pillars have this particular story. They are known as the Ustuwana. When you say the area between my grave and the mimbar is Rawdat min Riyadh al-Jannah, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah is a very famous commentator, of Sahih Bukhari, author of Fath al-Bari, he gives three possible meanings. That this area is like a Jannah, like a garden in Jannah, in the sense that constant mercy of Allah is descending here. Just like if you enter Jannah, you are fortunate. If you get to enter this area, you're also very fortunate. Number two, if you worship in the Rawda, you will eventually lead you to a Jannah. Number three, this physical area will be uplifted and it will become part of Jannah in the Akhirah. That is why the scholars say when you go there, one ayah you should recite and make Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wabtaghu ilayhi al-wasila. Allah Ta'ala says, fear Allah and present wasila, a'mal as a wasila in the court of Allah. So we can make this amal as a wasila and say, oh Allah, you have allowed me to enter Riyadh al-Jannah. And you have said in your Quran, وَمَا هُم مِّنْهَا بِمُخْرَجِينَ وَمَا هُم مِّنْهَا بِمُخْرَجِينَ. We should memorize this ayah. وَمَا هُم مِّنْهَا بِمُخْرَجِينَ. Whoever is entered into Jannah will never be expelled from Jannah. Whoever is granted entrance into Jannah once will never be taken out. Allah Ta'ala will not tease anyone, grant him a tour of Jannah and then expel him. You're not going to get this Jannah. No. Whoever is granted entrance to Jannah once will always be allowed to remain in Jannah. And then to أحتج بها عند ربي. I take this as a dalil and say, oh Allah, you are my Lord, you have granted me entrance into Jannah by virtue of your Rasulullah terming this as Jannah. So now I ask you that you never expel me from Jannah in the hereafter as well. The masjid, this area has 8 pillars. They hold historic significance. And they're not parallel. All the pillars in the Masjid Nabawi are parallel and symmetrical and in line. But the Turkish, they were so much love of seerah they had that they maintained the pillars exactly where the trunks of the trees, palm trees were in the time of Rasulullah. Even if it's haphazard, then they kept that. They're historically significant. On the top of each pillar is written, هذه أسطوانة عائشة, هذه أسطوانة الوفود, هذه أسطوانة السرير, هذه أسطوانة الحرس, هذه أسطوانة التوبة, هذه أسطوانة عائشة. So each pillar is written on top in calligraphy. These pillars, we should not kiss them, start hugging them, revere them, but we should perform salah next to these pillars and make dua. Ustuwana Mukhallaq, Aisha, Abu Lubaba, Sarir, Ali, Wafud, Jibril, each one has its own story. So this is an example of a picture. On the right, it says, هذه أسطوانة عائشة. If it's hard to read, it starts from the bottom up. Not from top, bottom, right to left, bottom up. In the bottom it says هذه, then center it says Ustawana, and the top it says Aisha. If you can read it. You have to have some background in calligraphy perhaps to be able to read it. But it says هذه أسطوانة عائشة in this particular picture. Uswana Hannana al-Mukhallaq. This is a weeping pillar. This is the pillar where Rasulullah ﷺ used to lean against it before there was a mimbar, and he used to give his khutbah on Fridays. In Sahih Bukhari is narrated when the mimbar was built for him and he moved away. We think it is a miracle of Isa alayhi salam that the dead became alive, but the dead was alive. He just life returned to the dead man. Over here, the tree, which is not alive in the sense of a human being, nor does it cry. This is a greater miracle. This is Sahih Hadith of Bukhari, it's not a weak narration, that there was a loud, sobbing, weeping sound emitted from the tree. And everyone in the entire masjid heard it. It was sobbing. Why was it sobbing? That Rasulullah ﷺ, who used to lean against the tree, moved away from the tree to give khutbah on the mimbar. Then Nabi ﷺ came and consoled it. Subhanallah. So that is the place that marks it. The Ustawana, the weeping pillar. Then you have Ustawana Aisha. This is a hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ narrated by Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha. There's one spot in the masjid, if people knew the blessed nature, then they would cast lots to pray here. That's why I told you we have to have the third trip to get all the pillars. You might be lucky to get 1 or 2 in Hajj. Usman Abu Lubaba is another whole story. You'll study in Sirah that he committed a sin and he was very, very sad about it. So he had given away the secret of Rasulullah ﷺ in one campaign to the enemy for some particular reason, and then he was so upset about that. Then what did he do? What did I do? How grave a sin I committed? So he tied himself up to the pillar. And he said, I'm going to die here on strike until Rasulullah ﷺ unties me and says he has forgiven me. So he would just perform his salah, then they would time up. He would perform his salah. He waited for a few days until Allah revealed his tawbah to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam untied him with his own hand and said, okay, you are forgiven. I forgive you. I am untying you. I am fulfilling your request. So this is Ustuwana Abu Lubaba. It's also called Ustuwana Tawbah because that is how he made his unique tawbah. Ustuwana Sarir. Sarir is bed. This is where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make i'tikaf. So you should perform salah there too. This is it's written there. Alif, Lam, Sin, Ra, Ya, Ra, As-Sarir. You'll see it. Hadihi Ustuwanatul Sarir. Ustuwanatul Haras. Haras. This is guard. Haris is the guard. This is where Allah Ta'ala revealed the ayah. Ya ayyuha Rasulu balligh ma unzila ilayk min rabbik wa in lam tafa'al fama ballaghta risalata. O my Nabi, do the effort of tabligh. Wallah ya'asimuka minan nas. Allah will protect you. When this ayah was revealed, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam disbanded the guard. He said, you are dismissed. No more job for you. We don't need any guard. Allah said, Wallahu ya'asimuka minan nas. Allah will protect you. But before that, in the beginning, he had a guard. Just in case you see the contradiction, there's a pillar for the guard, and then you hear that there's no guard. Or in Riyadh al-Salihin, you open the book, and the woman that she was crying by the grave of her son, right in the beginning of the Riyadh al-Salihin, then she says, I went to seek forgiveness from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for getting upset at him. فَمَا وَجَدْتُ عِنْدَهُ بَوَّابٍ. I found there was no guard there. So you'll say, you said there was a pillar for the guard. So there's two eras. In the beginning there was a guard, later on there was no guard. And it's also called Ustuwana Ali, because Ali radiallahu anhu used to frequently be the appointed guard. In the beginnings, he was a young man, and he was a cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so he used to be the gatekeeper. That's why it's called Ustuwana Ali. Ustuwana Wufud, Wafdun Wufud is delegations. This is where Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to meet all the delegations of the different tribes, and the leaders would come to accept Islam and to discuss and negotiate and sign treaties. Ustuwana, a pillar of conversing and speaking with the delegations. Ustuwana Tahajjud, this is when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed the Tahajjud Salah in the night. Ustuwana Jibreel is where Jibreel alayhi salam used to come inside. This is inside the sacred chamber. You cannot visit this one. When we're in Medina, we should spend as much time in the masjid with the niyat of i'tikaf. Markets are everywhere. You don't have to spend a majority of the time in the markets. Everything in the market is made in China, right? It's not made. What's made in Medina is the dates of Medina, and from Makkah is the Zamzam. Pretty much everything else is imported from outside. You can get it anywhere else. So it's not something very unique. You want the dates of Medina, this is the Hadiyah Haramain. Even the tasbihs and the musallas are not, now they started some industry of making musallas, but the main gift is dates and Zamzam, that's it. Everything else is from outside. Why should we be spending time? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna habbal biladi ilallahi masajiduha." The most beloved thing in the eyes of Allah, place on earth in the eyes of Allah is a masajid. Abghadul biladi ilallahi aswaquha. The most despicable place in the earth in the eyes of Allah are the markets. In the houses of Allah, في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال. In the house of Allah, morning, evening, Allah is praised. In the market, the material is praised. Come buy my wares. Come look at my beautiful colors. Come look at this. People are praising. Come look at my electronics. Whatever they have, they are praising the material. In the masjid, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Try to perform as many salat as you can in the Rawda, in the Riyadh al-Jannah. Recite as much as salawat as possible. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Recite, make a goal, 10,000, 5,000, 3,000. Shouldn't be less than 1,000. Have utmost 1,000 sounds like a lot, but what else are you doing? You're not on call. 1,000 is 10 tasbihs. 1 tasbih is 100. 10 tasbih is very, sounds like thousands, but it's actually very less. Have utmost respect and reverence for the entire city and people of Medina. We should have love for the people of Medina. Ya sakini aknafa tayyibata innakumu ila al-qalbi min ajli al-habibi habibu. O the dwellers of Medina, you are Ya sakini aknafa tayyibata innakumu. Verily, O you dwellers of Medina, ila al-qalbi min ajli al-habibi habibu. Due to the love for the Habib Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're also my Habib. Give sadaqah to the needy people of Medina. Beware of all the fake ones, unfortunately. There's a lot of professionals and and they are making a business out of it. This is what Rasulullah had prophesied. A time will come upon the ummah that Hajj will become a tourism for the rich, means of pride for the ulama, and a means of begging for the poor. And the spirit will be gone. سيأتي على الناس زمان لا يبقى من الإسلام إلا اسمه ولا من القرآن إلا رسمه ولا من العلم إلا درسه. So this is what's happening. Jannatul Baqir. If this is the graveyard, 10,000 Sahaba are buried here. Many Tabi'een, Tabu Tabi'een, scholars, Mashayikh of the ulama of the Ummah, righteous awliya of Allah. We should make dua for all the inhabitants in Jannatul Baqir. Rasulullah used to visit there. Allahumma aghfir li ahli Baqir al-Gharqad. The city of Madinatul Munawwara is approximate of the time of Rasulullah is the approximate size of the Masjid Nabawi today in the courtyard. The graveyard is not inside the city; it was outside the city. But now the courtyard extended of Masjid Nabawi all the way to Jannatul Baqir. In Madinah Munawwara, the city is expanded so much, but there's only one graveyard. No one wants to die in Medina and then be buried somewhere else. So they recycle the graves. Every few months, then they use the same graves. Oh, reduce, reuse, recycle. They cannot reduce it. They expand it a little bit, but Uthman ibn Affan radiallahu anhu in the Sirah, it's mentioned that when the assassins took his life, then he was buried behind Jannatul Baqir. So that's why his grave is now included, it's towards the back. In that time, it was outside, because he was not even given opportunity to be buried in the Jannatul Baqir because of the rebels had taken over the city and had assassinated him. But now the Jannatul Baqir is extended, his grave is towards the back. You have to go quite a way back, in the center is raised up, the grave of Uthman ibn Affan, third Khalifa, Shahidul Madlum. In the front, right when you enter, you'll find the graves of Rasulullah's family, his wives, Azwaj al-Mutahharat, Ibrahim ibn Rasul, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiallahu anhu, his aunt Safiya radiallahu anha, Safiya bint Abdul Muttalib, others. Then there's Masjid Quba. Masjid Quba is the first masjid, the masjid ussisa ala taqwa min awwal yawm, first masjid founded on taqwa. Rasulullah stopped here at the time of Hijrah and built this masjid before building Masjid Nabawi. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to go on every Saturday, kulla sabtin, raqiban aw mashiyan, walking or riding. If you go on Saturday, there'll be more rush because people know the virtue of Saturday. Even the residents of Medina, they go to visit Masjid Quba on Saturday. But it's worth it because there's specific reward. Whoever goes to the Masjid of Quba and performs nafil prayer will have a reward like that of performing Umrah, Sunan Nasai. There's specific reward of performing nafil salah here, not everywhere else. Other places are just to visit, but this place you actually get reward for performing nafil salah, Masjid Quba. There's no specific reward of performing any salah in Masjid Qiblatain or Sab'a Masajid by Khandaq or in Uhud. We go there to say salam to the Shuhada of Uhud. We go to Qiblatain to see the historical place where the Qibla changed during salah. In the story, we'll talk about it on the bus when we go there. But Quba is the actual place where it's sunnah to perform 2 rakat salah. This is the current expansion of the Masjid Quba. There's a lot of things here. When we go there, I will show you the well, where inshallah, Allah willing, where the khatam of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was lost and the fitan began during the Khilafat of Uthman radiallahu anhu, other things. Then we have to do the whole Hajj still. We are finished, stuck in Medina. I'm trying to go faster. We're bidding farewell to Medina and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we finish our time in Medina, perform 2 rakat tahiyatul masjid, if it's not makruh time, go and make last salam to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with sadness and yearning, and make dua that, oh Allah Ta'ala, we are separating now in this dunya, but reunite us with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of judgment in Jannah. And have the firm intention that, oh Allah, the rest of my life I will learn the sunnah of Rasulullah, I'll practice it, and I'll propagate the message of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is our trip to Madinatul Munawwara. Now inshallah, there is 2 things left to do. One is to learn about Umrah quickly, and we have to learn about the Hajj. So raise your hand if you think who needs a break. Anyone need a break? Are you okay? You want to do the Umrah and then take a break? Okay, we'll do the Umrah. I'm going to raise your hand if I'm going too fast. I'm going to pick up the speed. Do you think I'm going too slow? No? Take it? All right. Preparation for Hajj. We talked about this, Muhtadin talked about this, resolving differences, paying off the debts, having, the most important thing is the Q&A at the end. Because what's on your mind? You might know this, you might not know this, I don't know. What you don't know is what's still lingering in your mind. If you want to hear those questions at the end. Make sure your wealth from Hajj is from halal sources. You know, you're doing, you take halal income and go to Las Vegas, it's haram. You take haram income, go to Makkah and Medina, it's also haram. Right? That's why I say that you have halal income and buy haram meat, or you take haram income and buy 100% hand-slaughtered zabiyah meat. Both are haram. Right? So the thing is, you have to have the halal income and the halal meat. Then it's halal. So, make sure the wealth for Hajj is from halal sources. Memorize du'as. Otherwise, you know, a big part of Hajj is dua. Dua mukhul ibadah. It is the essence of ibadah. But you never practiced dua. We never made a dua in our life. We just read some duas. We never made it from our heart. We never learned. Then it'll be hard. How are you going to make dua for 5 hours in Arafat? Rasulullah made 5-6 hour dua in Arafat. 5 minutes is 5 minutes sounds long. 5 hours. So we got to build it up, right? So when those who lift weights, they build up the resistance slowly. They increase the pounds. So we start making dua 5 minutes, then make it 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 100 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 5 hours. Then you'll be able to. When we make half an hour dua in Taraweeh, people say it's too long. Khatmul Quran, right? So we have to practice making duas. How is it even possible? Yeah, it's possible because the thing is, first part of the dua is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then sending salutations on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then asking for your needs of the dunya, asking for your needs of the akhirah, for yourself, for your family, for your children, for the whole ummah. And then at the end you praise Allah ta'ala, you send salawat on Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. What's the first thing in this list? Praise Allah ta'ala. Right there. From now, if you start till you die, it's not enough time to praise Allah. You don't even have time to send salawat, if you think about it, because Allah Ta'ala says, لَوْ أَنَّ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْلَامٍ. If all the jungles of the world, you turn them into pens. وَالْبَحْرِ يَمُدُّ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ سَبْعَةُ أَبْحُرٍ. And then you have the 7 oceans turn into ink. And you start writing the praise of Allah, مَا نَفِيدَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ. You can never end the praise of Allah. Mathematically, it makes sense. He's infinite in His being and His attributes, and His dhat and His sifat. We are finite beings, so we can never fulfill the right of the infinite in His praise. We can never fulfill the right of your praise. So forget about the rest of the dua, even salat on Rasul. When it comes to praising Allah, you can never finish that. Shouldn't be a problem to fill your day with dua. If you just start praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah ta'ala loves to be praised. He loves an yuhmad, that He is praised. So praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then remember the sacrifice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, send salawat on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then after that, you can present your needs in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Memorize du'as. This is a picture of the haram. So the original, Hafiz Umar is there in the lobby, Hafiz Umar or Brother Usman. If they can, you can ask them to, there's a laser pointer in the office. They can send the laser pointer. I wanted to point some things. Mullah Usman got it, okay. Inshallah, because I noticed that there are things here I want to point out. If there's a laser pointer, all right, Jazakullahu Khairun. So this is showing a beautiful picture with the full occupancy in the in Masjid al-Haram. So this extension here is the Safa Marwa, for those who haven't visited. The Safa is that part which is attached, and the protruding corner, that dome, is Marwa. Right. So we have Safa is and Marwa. The Sa'i starts from Safa, ends at Marwa. There's seven times. We start from Safa, go to Marwa is 1, Marwa back to Safa 2, Safa to Marwa 3, right? Sometimes, so your Sa'i will start at Safa and the 7th one will end at Marwa. If you're counting and you end your 7th at Safa, then there's a problem in your count. You might have done 14. You could have doubled it. This is the difference between Sa'i and Tawaf. In Tawaf, when you come back to your starting point, you have done one shot. From Hajar Aswad to Hajar Aswad. One complete circle is one circumambulation. But not in Sa'i. So sometimes people start from Safa, go to Marwa, come back to Safa and count 1. They doubled it. Double effort and less sawab, not double sawab. It's like you say, okay, I'm going for Hajj, so let me pray 8 rakat dhuhr instead of 4 rakat. You get 0 thawab, not double thawab. Dhuhr is 4 rakat. So this is 7, not 14. So you start from Safa to Marwa 1, Marwa Safa 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You end at Marwa. This is the original masjid. The Turkish building was around the Kaaba. Then around it is the Saudi expansion, first one in the 50s and 60s. And then this is the 90s where you have the 3 domes. This is the King Fahad expansion. And then here is the King Abdullah expansion. This, how it is protruding here, eventually this will cover the entire circle, will become this parallel to this, similar to this, symmetrical to this. In case you're wondering why is this part protruding, this part is less, the whole thing is going to become like that. This whole section, this whole King Fahad expansion, all of this will become similar to this level. How far this goes out, that's how it will be on all sides eventually. So about 10 million Hujjaj will be accommodated. So this is what's happening. Quantity increasing, quality is 0 or near 0, unfortunately. It's a big decrease in the quality of the Hajj. So many people are doing Hajj today that they never did in the entire history of the Ummah. Khulafa in the Prophet ﷺ's time, how many Hajjis? 124,000. That's nothing. And then after that, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, how many people were there? So few. Khulafa Rashidin, Khulafa Banu Umayyah, Abbasiyah time. You could pretty much meet every single Haji who did Hajj with you from the whole world. That's how few they were. But now it's unbelievable. In the entire history of the Ummah, there was never so much Hajis. In the entire history of the Ummah, we were never in such a despicable condition. So it's not the quantity that counts, it's the quality. May Allah grant us the true quality. لا يبقى من الإسلام إلا اسمه. That's why when you read Fazail Hajj, you'll say that, oh, I saw that person, I met him in the Haram. Then the stories, they say that in Mina, I saw him making dua. Then in Muzdalifah, I met him. Then you think, how did they keep on meeting each other over and over again? Because there were so few. On the day of judgment, the amal will not be counted. There's no addul amal. It wasn't an amal. Amal will be weighed. So the amount of ikhlas and sincerity in the amal, that's how heavy it will be, and it will be of value on that day. In any case, this is, first you enter in a state of ihram. We had one ustad, we used to, when I was in South Africa, we took a time from after Asr and we used to read a book on Hajj, because we were going for Hajj from South Africa when we were students. So he told us, ihram bardosh. Ihram is on, bar means on top, dosh is your shoulder. He said, ihram bardosh, afsos, hajj karna na seeke. Kafan bardosh, afsos, marna na seeke. So he said, we are all wearing the ihram on our shoulder, afsos, sadness, we never learned how to perform the true hajj. We are all wearing our kafan, literally our burial shroud is on our shoulder, but afsos, so sad, we have not learned how to die. The ihram is, ahrama yuhrim ihram, means to make haram, declare something unlawful upon oneself. That's why in the takbir al-tahrima, it also makes haram. What happened? Allahu Akbar, what became haram? Walking is haram, talking is haram, eating is haram, drinking is haram. Turning away from the qibla, you made it haram. Why? Because you said the takbir al-tahrima, qumu lillahi qanitin. Stand in qunut, you cannot move around. That's why it's called takbir tahrim. Allahu Akbar. Then there's a takbir intiqal. No one died yet. Takbir intiqal means you move. Move from standing to ruku, from ruku to sajda. That movement is called takbirul intiqal. So ihram means to make haram. Tahrima means to make haram. So ihram is you're making things haram. When you enter into state of ihram, what is haram now? Perfume is haram. Combing your hair is haram. Trimming your nails is haram. Plucking your, shaving is haram. Wearing sword clothes is haram. This is for men. The prohibitions of ihram is coming up. So intimate relations with one's lawfully wedded spouse is haram. Big distinction is we have to know that ihram is a state. It's a ritual state. It's a condition you're in. And the garments are the garments of ihram. But people call the garments ihram. Normally what happens is that when you wear the garments, then you make the intention. It happens at the same time that you make the intention of ihram and you wear the libas of ihram and you enter the state of ihram. But you could have one without the other. If a person is on the border and he makes a niyyah of ihram, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, I enter in the state of ihram, and he's wearing sword clothes, will he enter in the state of ihram? Yes. And what will happen? Violations will start. So his violation has started that he's wearing sword clothes. If he wears it for a whole day, he will have to give a dam. But he made the niyyah. What's the actual thing is the niyyah. On the flip side, conversely, a person wears the white towel-like garment or any other white libas, top garment, bottom one, unsewed, but he did not make the niyyah. Is he in a state of ihram? Just by wearing the garment? No. So you have to make the niyyah. The niyyah is the important thing. The niyyah is what makes you in the state of ihram, not the libas alone. In all of the a'mal, from salah to zakat to som, you do not have to verbalize the niyyah. A niyyah to aqdul qalb. Niyyah is that you make intention in your heart. With the exception of Hajj. In Hajj you have to articulate it. Allahumma inni yuridu al-umrata fayassirha li wa taqabbalha minni. Oh Allah, I'm intending umrah, make it easy for me, accept it. Allahumma inni yuridu al-hajja. Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik. You have to say the talbiyah. By saying the talbiyah, you enter in a state of ihram. If you don't say the talbiyah, you just wear the garments, you perform 2 rakat salah, and you walked out to the bus, and you just went, you never said the talbiyah, then you didn't enter in state of ihram. You have to say the talbiyah. This is the one exception. Otherwise, this will bisomi ghadin nawaitu and all of this, that's not important to say that at suhoor. Bisomi ghadin nawaitu. Why are you eating breakfast at 3 a.m.? Why are you getting up? You're eating suhoor because you're fasting. So that is, you know you're fasting, that's your niyyah. You don't have to say, bisomi ghadin nawaitu. Or, 2 rakat namaz padhta hu, wasta Allah ta'ala ke imam ke piche, all that. Those words that you say before the salah is not important. It's not necessary. If it helps you in focusing, fine. But it's not the sunnah. The sunnah is just to know that you're performing salah. Over here, you have to say, labbaik Allahumma labbaik. So ihram in the context of Sharia refers to entering into a state of adhering to the prohibitions. The wearing of the white clothing symbolizes the state. Although this state is not entered into by wearing the sheets of white alone. Is that clear? Just by wearing the sheets, you don't enter the state until you make the actual niyyah. What should you do? Is sunnah to take a ghusl before? Like this happens, like I'll tell you a practical example. Is that, say you're going through Turkish Airlines. In Istanbul airport, you take a shower, and you perform 2 rakat salah in the musalla there, you put your ihram on, ihram libas on, and then you go in the plane. But you didn't say the talbiyah, so you're not in state of ihram. So you can still touch the perfume toilet, what is it called? They give you the napkin, serviette, and it has perfume in it. You can touch it. You can use the soap in the airplane bathroom that has fragrance in it. You can still comb your hair. You can still apply perfume. You can do all that, even though you're wearing libas of ihram. Why? Because you didn't recite the talbiyah. But before you arrive at Jeddah, you will be crossing the miqat. They will announce it. When you come near the miqat, you have to make that talbiyah at that point and enter the state of ihram before you cross the miqat. Otherwise, it will be a violation. Okay. Sunnah, take a bath. Mustahab, to trim one's excess hair, clip nails, and apply perfume. Male ihram, 2 white, new or washed sheets of cloth, upper garment and lower garment. And the males have to wear the slipper sandals which expose the tarsal bone. In Medina, we will go over a physical demonstration of that, how to wear the ihram. There's the slippers, you can wear the Crocs slippers that are open in the front, not the one that is closed. Those are good. Skechers also has really nice foam ones that are good for walking. Or if you take the bathroom slippers, it might be harder for you later. Technically, it fulfills the requirement of the ihram, but they are harder on your feet and there's a lot of walking. So if you invest in nice slippers that are more spongy material, made for longer walking, and there's nothing impermissible about having gel in there or anything of that nature. That's fine. Female ihram, they can wear abaya, scarf, gloves, socks. They can wear all normal clothing, but there should be no material touching their face. In the Azwaj al-Mutaharat used to cover their faces when the men would come in front of them, even in the state of ihram, by keeping a veil hanging away from their face. So a woman who wears niqab can wear a cap so that the niqab does not touch her face. It is sunnah to perform 2 rakat salah before entering state of ihram. In the first rakat you recite Surah Kafirun, second rakat you recite Surah Ikhlas. You'll find this a recurring theme. Sunnah of before ihram, these 2 surahs. After tawaf, you perform 2 rakat, the same 2 surahs. The sunnah of Fajr, Rasulullah will recite these 2 surahs. And the scholars say it's basically nafi and isbat. La ilaha first. There is no one worthy of worship. Illallah, except for Allah. So Surah Kafirun is nafi. La a'budu ma ta'budun. I do not worship the gods you worship. You make nafi of shirk. Second rakat, you say, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad. You make isbat of tawheed. So first rakat, you negate kufr and shirk. Second rakat, you establish tawheed. This is the logical explanation behind these 2 surahs. See? Nafi of shirk followed by isbat of tawheed. Then when should ihram be worn? Before passing miqat is the key thing. The earlier you do it, the more longer period of time of restriction. So you can do it close to miqat, but definitely before you cross miqat. Yes. It's preferable you put the ihram on before you get on the plane, and then you make the niyyah on the plane when you come near miqat. It's hard to sometimes wear the ihram in the plane unless you're good at it, you know what's going on. If you need more time, the bathrooms on the airplane might be tight. You can make ghusl at home or at your transit city, depending. And go in the airplane and you put your ihram on in your transit airport, or if you have a direct Saudi airline flight from Washington DC or New York, but before you land in Jeddah. Okay, before you land in Jeddah, you have to have the ihram if you are going to Makkah first. If you're going to Medina first, then you don't have to have ihram. Even if you cross the miqat and you're going to Jeddah, and from Jeddah you're going to go to Medina, you still don't have to have ihram. Or if you're flying direct to Medina, obviously no ihram. If you're going to Jeddah, crossing the miqat, but you're going to go out of from Jeddah, you're taking a bus or plane or taxi to Medina, again you don't need ihram. Only if when you're coming in, you're going to go and land in Makkah and you cross the miqat, then you need ihram. Okay? If you are landing early in Hajj and you're crossing the miqat and you're going to go to Makkah, you have to have ihram. You can get out of the ihram after performing Umrah. You have to. If your final destination initially is Makkah and you're crossing miqat, you have to be in ihram. And to come out of ihram, you do Umrah and come out of ihram and then wait for Hajj. You don't have to make the ihram in the niyat of Hajj. If you make the labbaik bi hajjin, oh Allah, I make the niyat of Hajj, as long as you're in Ashrul Hajj, from Shawwal, Zilqa'dah, Zilhajjah. If you start even like on Eid day, you cross miqat, you say labbaik bi hajjin. Eid day, Eid al-Adha, Eid al-Fitr, first Shawwal. You're in the month of Hajj now, Shawwal, Zilqa'dah, Zilhajjah. And you make the niyat of Hajj, you will remain in ihram, whole Shawwal, whole Zilqa'dah, and till after Hajj. till you do your tawaf. No, till after you do on the 10th of Zulhijjah, you do your Rami, Nahar, Halaq, then you can come out of Ihram. So that will be, imagine how long that will be. You don't make the niyat of the Ihram of Hajj. What Ihram you will do? Umrah. So after you get out of your Umrah, you're done. You will put your Ihram of Hajj later. We'll come to that. So, miqat is the outer boundary. Now, in fiqh class, we will teach the students all the miqat. You don't need to know this. Wherever your flight is coming, they will tell you. If I tell you now, you're not going to remember it. Zul Hulayfa, Juhfa, Yalamlam, Qarn al-Manazil, Dhatul Iraq. These are the different miqats. So this is just a map from the north, Zul Hulayfa. This Zul Hulayfa one is key for us because that's the one for Medina. It's just outside the city of Medina. Is a beautiful masjid for miqat masjid. They built it up, and that is where the buses will stop. It's only like 15 minutes outside of Medina. 10-15 minutes from Masjid Nabawi, you will come to Zul Hulayfa. In the India-Pakistan books, or those coming from the east of Jazirat al-Arab or Arabian Peninsula, they will come on the boat. So you will see the Yalamlam. Yalamlam is for the people from the south, from Yemen. The boats would come in the Red Sea, west of this, and they would pass by Yalamlam and they would put the ihram on and go north further. Niya plus the talbiyah means now you're in a state of ihram. Allahumma inni uridu al-umrata. Oh Allah, I intend your umrah. You can repeat after me. You're going to be saying it on there. In Zul Hulayfa, inshallah. Allahumma inni uridu al-umrata fayassirha li wa taqabbalha minni. This is a recurring theme. Every stage you say the same thing. You should get familiar with it. Two things you're going to ask for. Oh Allah, make it easy for me and accept it from me. Asan farma, qabul farma. It's the same thing. Yassirha li is asan farma. Make it easy. Taqabbalha minni, accept it. Allahumma inni uridu. Oh Allah, I intend. Now after uridu, you change it. Allahumma inni uridu tawaf. Allahumma inni uridu sa'iya bayna safa wal marwa. Allahumma inni uridu al-hajja. Allahumma inni uridu whatever. Fill in the blank. Then after that, fayassirha li wa taqabbalha minni. Make it easy for me, accept from me. That part of the dua will remain the same. Or fayassirhu li wa taqabbalu. It might be masculine. But basically, this format of the dua will remain the same. Oh Allah, I intend such and such. Make it easy for me, accept it from me. You can do it in your language. Because Allah knows all the languages. Definitely. Labbaik, at least we should, hopefully Hajis we should learn Labbaik. By the time you do Hajj, all of us should learn the Labbaik, right? Labbaik Allahumma, let's try it. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. Right, so this beautiful story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ, and how he proclaimed for Hajj and this whole story. But we have so many slides. That's why I'm not going into all of those tangents. But what is the philosophy of the labbaik? We'll cover it inshallah. Okay, one should recite the talbiyah with the intention of coming in ihram. Now, this is our answer to Allah's call to Hajj. Allah has, if you say labbaik, I'm present, I'm hadir, I'm here, oh Allah. We just read this together. Sahal ibn Sa'ad radhiyallahu anhu reports that Rasulullah said, when a Muslim recites talbiyah, every stone, tree, even the ground, they all recite talbiyah with him. You should recite as much as possible. This is a unique dua and dhikr for the Haji, for the Mu'tamir. No one else does it. When you go for Taraweeh in Ramadan, you don't say labbaik, I'm here for Taraweeh. When you go for Sadaqah and Zakat distribution, you don't say labbaik. Only Haji says it. No one else says it. You are the one supposed to say it. Now if you don't say it too, what a great loss. But no one is supposed to say it. You are the only one in the world that's saying it, supposed to be saying it. And you don't also have time to say talbiyah. It's a great, inexcusable loss. We cannot miss the talbiyah. We should recite it as much as possible. Men should recite it audibly. Women should recite it quietly. And you should recite it individually as much as possible. What are some forbidden acts in ihram? Sins are emphatically forbidden. So someone will say sins are always forbidden. But what happens is, if you commit a sin outside of ihram, it's one sin. If you commit it in ihram, then it's a sin plus you lose the thawab. It's like woman exposing her hair is a sin. But when she comes for salah and she exposes her hair, affects the validity of the salah as well. That's why in the masjid, from one perspective, in the masjid, in the women's section, we go and clean the masjid and we see that. Otherwise, you men don't go to the women's section. You'll say, what is Mustab doing in the women's section? So after hours, when you go and clean, we see there's a box of hijabs. So it's such a sad thing to see, and it's also a good thing, depending on which perspective. The fact that you have a box of hijab, meaning, how did you enter the masjid? You weren't like transported miraculously, right? You had to come through the market, through the street. So how you ended up coming here without a hijab? Why do you even need to have a hijab box? That means that the woman is coming to the women's musalla without a hijab. So that's the sad part. The good part is that there's still this level of consciousness that I'm not wearing hijab outside is one sin. If I perform salah without hijab, my salah won't count even. I make ghiba outside, and ghiba is haram all the time. I make ghiba in Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Thani, it's a sin. Make ghiba in fasting Ramadan, double. You lose the thawab of your fast as well as the ghiba. So likewise, over here, sins always a sin. But in ihram, if you're committing sin, then you're losing your thawab of your umrah on top of it, or your hajj. فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ فِي الْحَجِّ. This is what the Qari Sahib recited in the beginning. Foul language, fighting, quarreling. This is the ayah. فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ. This is takhsis qabla ta'meem and ba'da ta'meem, both. In the middle, Allah Ta'ala said, وَلَا فُسُوقَ فَلَا رَفَثَ الحج أشهر معلومات فمن فرض فيهن الحج فلا رفث ولا فسوق ولا جدال. So fusuq means any form of disobedience, don't do in Hajj. But then two specific ones are mentioned. One is rafath, obscenities, and one is jidal, fighting. Because obscene behavior with non-mahram is haram, but with your zawja, with your wife and a husband, it's also haram in Hajj. That's why it's specifically mentioned. So that means obscene jokes, obscene behavior, obscene touching, it's all haram in Hajj. And then jidal is mentioned. Jidal means fighting, arguing. Why? Because as Mufti Azim mentioned, there is a lot of opportunity to fight. And there will be a lot of things happening that you don't like. So you have to have a lot of patience. Allah Ta'ala is specifically saying, don't fight when you're in ihram. All forms of intimacy is haram. Wearing day-to-day clothes, sewn clothes is haram. Using perfume and fragrances is not permissible. Removal body hair, clipping the nails, wearing footwear covering the shoelace area. This is all prohibited. Any questions? These are forbidden acts. Male should not cover the head with something touching. If it's an umbrella, not touching, it's okay. If it's touching, a hat, it's impermissible. Covering the face with something touching your face is impermissible. To hunt or help in hunting. Dalala ala sayd. Help, telling somebody to hunt. Oh, there's the deer, it went there. Killing lice. If you do this mistakenly or forgetfully, they're all prohibited. Inshallah, you won't see lice. Don't worry, you got scared when you heard about lice. They see people in ihram, traveling with the camels and the donkeys, and for days and days and weeks crossing the miqat. You won't have lice, bhai. Pareshan mat ho. Lice dekh kar pareshan ho gaya. Okay. So having a shower for purification or for coolness, it's permissible. You can take a shower, tabridan, tanzifan, to cool. But in Arafat day, you can take it as well if you get a chance. Sunnah. But you have to use unscented soap or no soap. It's permissible to have injections, bandages, sunglasses, glasses, watch. Changing a diaper, somebody asked this question, it's permissible. Using miswak. You can wear a blanket, but don't cover your face and head. Wearing a belt. Killing harmful insects and scorpions, snakes, it's permissible. So, basic umrah. Umrah is two things. Simple is tawaf and sa'i, that's it. Make tawaf, make sa'i, umrah is done. Make ghusl for ihram is sunnah, 2 rakat before ihram is sunnah. Then the condition is to have niyat and talbiyah. The farad is to make tawaf, then wajib to perform 2 rakat after the tawaf, then do sa'i, and then shave the hair. This is your umrah. We're going to go over each one quickly. This is not the one slide, this is just a bird's view, eye view, all this overview, and then we're going to do each one. That is the end of the Umrah. So when you enter Makkah, you enter with humbleness. The grandeur of Allah Ta'ala should enter your heart. In Medina, you felt the Jamal of Mustafa. In Makkah, you feel the Jalal of Allah. It is not a sightseeing trip. Go to your hotel, place your baggage in the hotel. If you're really tired, take some rest before your Umrah. It takes many hours in peak time. It needs energy. In the night is less heat. Okay. In the 24 hours, when is the time there's less? In the tahajjud time, people come for tahajjud. There's a lot of rush. Then is the pre-fajr rush. Then is the post-fajr rush. People who are there from tahajjud, they say, chalo, we'll do one tawaf before we go in Makkah. In Medina, they'll say, let's say salam before we go. So post-fajr rush. Then, in the 24 hours, there's 2 periods of time, there's less people. In Makkah or Medina. This is the one time. All the hotels have breakfast buffets. So, everyone goes to eat breakfast. Is it time for salah? No. Is it time for any specific activity? No. There's no khutbah at this time. There's no Jummah khutbah, Eid khutbah, nothing. What's going on in the haram? No particular activity scheduled. In fact, the particular activity schedule now is breakfast buffet in the hotels. So a lot of people leave. That is the time where you can go into the Hatim. That is the time where you can go to the Multazam. That is the time you go to Riyadh al-Jannah. This is the one time. If you miss that time, then you have people who come early for Dhuhr. Then you have the Dhuhr rush. Then you have the post-Dhuhr rush, which goes into the pre-Asr rush, which goes into Asr rush, post-Asr rush, pre-Maghrib rush, post-Maghrib rush, pre-Isha rush, post-Isha rush. Post-Isha rush and before Tahajjud rush is your second time within the 24 hours. When everyone is tired. So when they're eating or when they're sleeping. These are the only 2 times you have. Sallu bil layli wa nasu niyam, tadkhulul jannata bi salam, right? Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, perform salah when people are sleeping. So when everyone goes back to sleep, after Isha, chalo, we'll do one tawaf before we go back. That also happened. That's why I said there's a post-Isha rush. Chalo, let's say salam to Rasulullah in Riyadh al-Jannah. They also perform their salah and everything. You have to schedule it that, let everyone do that. You have your dinner then, or you have something else, then come back. So I'm talking like in the night, like after 11 o'clock to before 1 o'clock, 11, 12, 1. Then after 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, the tahajjud rush will start. So that is the time. So you have to sacrifice your food and sacrifice your sleep, then you will get that. You cannot eat the cake and also have the cake. You have to cut something to get something. No pain, no gain. So that is, if what I remembered here is that performing the Umrah at night when the heat is less. One should be engaged in reciting talbiyah all the time. Enter the right foot of the Masjid al-Haram with du'as. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi. Allahumma aftah li ababa rahmatik. Proceed to the Kaaba, not as a tourist but a servant. When you reach a place, you keep your eyes down until you can see the Kaaba and your view is not obstructed. Then make dua. This is a very sacred place, time for acceptance of dua. So try to keep your eyes down until you come to a place where you're not standing in the middle of the rush and you're not blocking anyone. Then you can stand and make a long dua. Kaaba pari jab pehli nazar kya cheez hai duniya bhul gaya. You can enjoy that experience. Al-Masjid al-Haram. The actual Kaaba, this is, you can see, it's clear now. So, this is the green line start of Tawaf. This is old. They removed the green line. Everyone was standing on the line and making a big problem. So this line is not there anymore. It used to be there. What you need to do is, what you can see is that from, how do you recognize this corner is that all the corners of the Kaaba, the kiswa, the covering is black. Solid black, right? But this corner from the top to the bottom, there's a line of design, a pattern. So when you see that pattern, that is an indication that this is the Hajar Aswad corner. And opposite all the corners, all the doors of the Haram, they have two minarets. But the door opposite Hajar Aswad has 1 minaret. There's a huge landmark. That is the side where the Hajar Aswad is. It's left of the door. You can't miss the door of the Kaaba, the big golden door. So left of the door is Hajar Aswad. This is the starting point of the tawaf and the end point of the tawaf. The black stone of Jannah, where you will not try to kiss. Right. And you can go in the off season and kiss it. Alright, now it is life threatening. For men, for like Olympic champions, it's life threatening as well. So it's haram. Even if it's not life threatening, if he's some heavyweight champion of the world, it's still haram, because you cannot do it without hurting others. It's impossible to kiss Hajar Aswad without harming others. وَإِذَا وَالْمُسْلِمِ haram. Harming Muslims is haram. You'll cause pain to Muslims, you'll cause pain to other people. And you cannot kiss the Hajar Aswad without causing pain to someone. If someone comes and says, I kissed the Hajar Aswad, he shouldn't say that, because he's admitting his sin. In Hajj it's impossible to kiss Hajar Aswad, with some like 0.001% exception, if at the time of Salah, if the police, for some reason, the guards there is times when no one is there, literally, like right before the Iqamah, when they say, push you down, put down with police guard, with batons and sticks to make sure no one is there, and Hajar Aswad is just empty, no one is kissing it. And then they just look around, and there's some wali Allah, or something comes in their heart, they see some crippled person, you see these type of things happening, some handicapped person, some child, the cops will say, okay, come. No one is there, the child comes, kisses Hajar Aswad, the father kisses, the mother kisses, the person in the wheelchair kisses, then they say, go back. That type of thing can happen, because I made such a definitive statement that it is haram, so I'm giving the exception to that. There is an exception. You could kiss the Hajar Aswad like that without hurting anyone. But if you normally go, it's a complete war zone there. And between the Hajar Aswad and the Kaaba, this small piece of the Kaaba is the most prime real estate. This is the location. Here is called the Multazam. Multazam is that area where Rasulullah ﷺ went and put his chest and his cheek and his forehead against the wall of the Kaaba and cried and made dua. The area between the Hajar Aswad and the door of the Kaaba. This is still possible. If you go in the non-peak hours I identified just a moment ago, you can get the Multazam. It's not like, oh, lose hope. Don't even try now because he said it's... No, you can get the Multazam. I'm saying only kissing Hajar Aswad is impossible. Multazam is possible. And then, this is fi ayatun bayyinatun maqamu Ibrahim. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, and there are clear evident signs, and you'll see the footsteps of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Because Allah Ta'ala tells us, وَاتَّبِعُوا مِلَّةَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ حَنِيفًا مُسْلِمًا مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ Ibrahim. Follow the footsteps of your forefather Ibrahim. Follow your footsteps by, when I say like follow your father's footsteps, means be like him. Doesn't mean go find where he stepped in the sand or the snow and put your foot in the same place, right? We say majazan, figuratively. Follow his footsteps means become like him. But with respect to Ibrahim alayhi salam, it's figuratively and literally. Figuratively, submit to the will of Allah like he did. Allah tested him. Do you love your country more or Allah? Inni muhajirun ila Rabbi. He left his country. Do you love your father more or do you love Allah? He loved Allah more than his father who was a mushrik. Salamun alayka sa'astaghfiru laka Rabbi. Do you love your wife more or do you love Allah? He left her in the wadin ghayri dhi thar'in, the valley without a blade of grass. Do you love your son more or do you love Allah? He put his knife to his son's throat. It strove with the strength of 40 men to slaughter his son. قَالَ يَا أَبَتِ فَعَلْ مَا تُؤْمَرُ. The son also said, fulfill the order of Allah. He didn't say you had a nightmare. When he said, oh my dear son, I saw this dream, he said, fulfill the order of Allah. Do you love yourself more or do you love Allah? He threw himself in the fire. يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا. He was Muslim. ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما. He was a true Muslim. إذ قال له ربه أسلم. Allah told him to submit. قال أسلمت لرب العالمين. He submitted. So, follow his footsteps, you become a Muslim like him. But it's not only literally, it's not only figuratively majazan, it's also haqiqatan. Haqiqatan in the sense that he did tawaf at the Kaaba, you make tawaf at the Kaaba. He went to Mina, you go to Mina. He pelted the shaitan 3 times, or his family did, where they came to misguide them. You also pelt the shaitan. His wife also, she climbed from Mount Safa to Marwa to look for water, you also climbed Safa and Marwa. When she went slow in the incline and decline, you go slow. When she went fast between in the plain ground, you go fast. You imitate her even in her speed. Now it's all flat and plain, right? But when you go up the mountain, you go slow. When you come down, you also go slow. Why do you go slow when you go down? Because you don't want to fall on your face. So she was going slow up the mountain, slow down the mountain. Between the two mountains, she went fast. That's where the green light is. You go fast. Allah Ta'ala says, figuratively follow their footsteps, literally follow their footsteps. And then when you go there, you see the signs. لِيَشْهَدُوا مَنَافِعَ لَهُمْ. Go witness the signs that will strengthen your iman. Go see, this is where Rasulullah was born in Makkah. Go see, this is where he was buried in Medina. He was a real historical figure. This is not a fairy tales. This is not asatir al-awwaleen. This is not made up fiction. This is not a bedtime story. This is a reality. This is a living reality. This is an individual who lived here, walked here. You see the signs. All the hotels came, all the things changed. Uhud, look at it. It's the same Uhud, the same rock. The witness the battle of Uhud, you'll see the same mountain. Liyashhadu. Witness things benefit you. Now there are relics there. What relics are there? Allah Ta'ala could have kept the amam of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the staff of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the knife. When you go to a historical museum, you see all these things. This is the jewel dagger of the Ottoman Khalifa, or this is the pen of Thomas Jefferson that signed the Declaration of Independence, whatever. You see these things. What is the ayatun bayinat? Allah Ta'ala says, follow the footsteps of Ibrahim. If you don't get it, He says, fi ayatun bayinatun maqamu Ibrahim. I have preserved for you the footprint of Ibrahim. When you have to follow his footsteps, what did Allah preserve? The footstep. So over here, you actually see the footstep. When you see the footstep of Ibrahim, you're supposed to remind yourself that I'm supposed to follow these footsteps. That's why the footstep is preserved. It's literally a stone and there's a deep imprint of the foot. And then it's inlaid with silver. And the actual footprint is preserved as a reminder for us to follow his footsteps. Then this Hatim, this is when they were rebuilding the Kaaba. When Rasulullah was 30 years of age, they rebuilt the Kaaba. They did not have enough halal funds. So then they demarcated that area. They said the construction zone. This literally is a construction zone sign that to be repaired, to be completed. When after Fateh Makkah, Rasulullah wanted to complete it on the original foundation because they had enough funds now. And he told Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha, if lawla what is it, qawmaka hadithu ahdin bil jahiliyyah. If it wasn't that the people just came out of jahiliyyah, I would have done it. I don't want to touch it right now. So when her nephew Abdullah bin Zubair and Asma bint Abi Bakr's son Abdullah bin Zubair radiallahu anhu became the Khalifa for 6 months, he rebuilt the Kaaba and he included it. But after he was ousted out by the Banu Umayyah, Abdul Malik bin Marwan sent Hajjaj bin Yusuf and he killed Abdullah bin Zubair radiallahu anhu. Then he rebuilt the Kaaba. He said, we don't want previous administration, get rid of their work. So after that, Banu Umayyah, then the Banu Abbasiyah came, they wanted to rebuild it. So Imam Malik said, for God's sake, stop this. Every king is going to come and make a plaything of the Kaaba, keep it as it is. So then they stopped. So actually, this is part of the Kaaba. That's why if you go inside the Hatim, you get the reward of performing Salah inside the Kaaba. This is Rukn Iraqi. This is facing northeast. Then Rukn Shami is northwest. Rukn Yamani is southwest. And the Hajar Aswad is southeast. These are the four corners of the Kaaba. So you start from Hajar Aswad, Bismillah Allahu Akbar, you say make Istilam, you go make one circle. By the time you come to Hajar Aswad, that is one circle, one shawt, Sheen, Waw, Ta, shawtun. And 7 shawt makes one tawaf. The closer you are, the heavier the crowd is, the shorter the circle is, the heavier the crowd is. The farther you go, the bigger the circle, the less the rush. So you have to evaluate. If you're with a wheelchair, if you're older people, you want to go farther. If you can handle it, you can go closer. There's a special Mizab al-Rahma. This is the gutter of the Kaaba. It points out over the Hatim. So preparation for Tawaf. Tawaf is compulsory part of Umrah and Hajj. You know, yes? Yeah, basically when it's raining, the water flows out of there. And if you're in the Hatim, you can completely get drenched with the water coming from the Kaaba. It's a unique experience, yeah. This door of the Kaaba is a little bit high. There was a couple changes that Rasulullah told Aisha radiallahu anha, I want to do a couple changes. She was the khala, she told her son, sister Asma's son, Abdullah bin Zubair, when he was Khalifa, and he did that. There are three changes, main ones. One is to include the hatim. Second is to lower the door of the Kaaba to make it accessible for everyone, because the mushrikeen had made the door high. So you need a special stair to go up. And the third change is opposite there's another door. So you can come in and go out. There's supposed to be two doors. The other opposite side, there was just signs of it inside, but they have closed it off. The Yemeni corner, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he made tawaf, he touched it as well. He touched it, but there's no istilam from far away. Only if you are there, you touch it. Hajar Aswad, if you're there, you kiss it. If you're far away, you indicate towards it. It's called istilam. There is no istilam. You'll find a big percentage of the ummah doing istilam here. This jahala. They do not know, unfortunately. There's no ikhtilaf in this. There's no madhab says that you make istilam. You say Allah Akbar, Bismillah. They're raising their hands here. So do not raise your hands here. There's only if you are right next to the Kaaba, then you can touch it. In this corner, Yemeni corner, the kiswa, the covering of the Kaaba is exposed, and the part of the covering of the Kaaba is uplifted, and that corner is exposed specifically for the purpose of those who are there can touch it. Whereas the other corners, the covering of the Kaaba is covered till the bottom. And this will be 1 year old when you go see it from last Hajj. And after the day of Arafah, then when you come back, after doing the day of Arafah, you'll see a brand new kiswa. Mark the difference. You'll see that the gold is shining, and the black is pure black, and the gold is pure gold, because it's a new cover. The covering is changed on the day of Arafah, right? So when you first come, it's a 1 year old covering. And when you finish your Hajj and come back to the Kaaba, it's a brand new covering. You can see the difference. It looks brand new, shining, like clothes for Eid. The Kaaba is clothed for Eid. The factory is there in Jeddah. It used to come from Egypt before. Now they have their own factory in Jeddah where they make it. The facts you can study on. I mean, this is not related to Hajj, how many 1,000 pounds of gold is used in silk and all that. SubhanAllah. Yemeni. So Maqam Ibrahim, Hatim, Multazam, Tawaf, these are the different corners. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was in Makkah, which side of the Kaaba he used to perform Salah? Does anyone know? Which side? One brother who was with us, he said that, MashaAllah, I went to all four sides of the Kaaba and performed 100 rakat nafil. So I performed each side of the Kaaba. He had his own vision. He wanted to perform 100 rakat nafil from each side. It's not written in any book. That was his own muhabbat. He did that. Which side did Rasulullah perform Salah? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed salah between this Hajar Aswad and Yemeni, this side. Why he performed this side? Is because he had to face Baytul Maqdis. The Qibla in Makkah was Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is north. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed salah on the south side. This is the south side. Yemeni corner is southwest, and Hajar Aswad is southeast. In this side, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed salah. So he could perform salah towards the Kaaba and towards Baytul Maqdis at the same time. His desire was to perform salah towards the Kaaba. So he got both. But when he went to Medina, he couldn't do that. Because Medina is on the north side, north of Makkah. You face north to Jerusalem, Baytul Maqdis, and you face south to Makkah. 16 months he had to perform salah. Then Allah Ta'ala said, قَدْ نَرَى تَقَلُّبَ وَجْهِكَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. I see that you keep on looking up to the sky for wahi, waiting for revelation. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً. I will now grant you that qibla. He didn't say ardaha, the one that I am pleased with. He said tardaha, the one that you want. I'll give you that qibla, the one you desire. This is the highest level. Radiyatan mardiya. Mardiya is that Allah Ta'ala gives you what you desire. Allah Ta'ala gives you what you desire. فَلَنُوَلِّيَنَّكَ قِبْلَةً. I will give you that qibla, tardaha, the one that you desire, not the one that I desire. Subhanallah. Yes. Meaning Allah wants to please, Allah's desire is to fulfill your desire. In the beginning is our desire to fulfill Allah's desire. खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. Qiblatan tardaha. What qibla you want? Okay, you want this one, I'll give you this one. So, subhanallah. So this is where Rasulullah ﷺ used to perform salah between the Yamani and Hajar Aswad. Then Allah gave him the qibla he wanted. Yes. When performing salah, people walking in front of you, there's no way you can stop it. So, yeah. Over here. Normal ruling is لو يعلم المار بين يدي المصلي ماذا عليه لوقف 40. The narrator says that if a person knew the sin for crossing in front of a person engaged in salah, he would rather wait for 40. This is his integrity that he said, I don't remember. Did he say 40 years, 40 days, 40 months? But he said 40 something. Even if it's 40 minutes, still significant, meaning that it's so much sin in walking in front of someone. But the exception here is, this is an exception. You cannot survive without walking in front, in haram. In your state of ihram, you should not touch the kiswa covering of the Kaaba because it has a lot of perfume and oud. They're always applying oud to it. So you will get the oud on your clothes. So you should not touch the kiswa when you're in ihram. You have to go out of the state of ihram to touch the kiswa. The kiswa is the covering of the Kaaba. Tawaf is to walk around the Kaaba 7 times. So Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran that kullun fi falakin yasbahun. Everything is rotating in their orbits. So at the universe level, the moon is rotating around the earth is rotating around the sun is rotating with the 9 planets around the center of the Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way galaxy is rotating around the center of the local cluster of galaxies. The local cluster of galaxies is rotating around supercluster of galaxies. Supercluster of galaxies is rotating around the known universe. Everything is in rotation at the maximum level of the universe. All the way down to everything is made up of molecules. Molecules are made up of atoms. Atoms are made up of, the nucleus. And around the nucleus there are electrons. And the electrons are rotating around the nucleus. So at a nano level, there's kullun fi falakin yasbahun. There's rotation around the center in the orbits. And at the universal level, galaxial level, there's rotation around the center. And spiritually, in awwala baytin wudi'a lin-nas lilladhi bi Makkah, the first house, the source of hidayah is Makkah. Like you want to buy, the wedding in the family, go to the gold market, fish market for fish, bakery for bread. Where you get hidayah? Masajid. The masajid are places of hidayah. One of our teachers, some ulama sitting here would appreciate, he was looking at the Kaaba. He said, Maulana Alauddin from Madrasa Saulatiyah, he taught 22 years, then he was expelled by Saudi government, then he taught us Tirmidhi in South Africa. So Maulana Alauddin is a student here also. One time he said in class to us that he was one time looking at the Kaaba, and somebody came to him and said that, أَتَعْتَقِدُ أَنَّ فِي هَذَا الْبَيْتِ barakah? Do you believe there is some barakah in this house? So he's, mashallah, from Kandahar, Pathan. So he said, أعتقد أن في هذا البيت بركة وأعتقد أن من لم يعتقدها فهو كافر بنص القرآن. I believe that there is barakah in this Baytullah, and I also believe that whoever does not believe there is barakah in Baytullah is a kafir and rejecter of the ayah of Quran. So he said, what? How do you say that? He was somebody from that position who does not believe in barakah. He came. I don't want to identify this particular group of people who don't believe in tabarruk. So he said, how can you say that? He said, Allah Ta'ala says, Inna awwala baytin wudi'a lin-nas lilladhi bi Bakkah mubarakan wa hudan lil alamin. He said, the first house erected in this earth is the Baytullah, mubarakan, source of barakah and hidayah for the world. So all the rahmah and hidayah, that's the center, it comes there. The tajalliyat rabbaniyah come on the Baytullah. And from there, that supply house, all the masajid are facing Baytullah, are connected to the Baytullah. And it comes to the different masajid. And from the masajid, we are supposed to get connected to the grid and bring the barakah to our homes. So we are making tawaf of that central powerhouse to get charged. Subhanallah. So this is, make wudu, perform the tawaf, begin tawaf, proceed to the corner of the Kaaba where the black stone is. Okay, few things to note for the men. You are uncover your right shoulder. This is called istiba'. Your right shoulder will be exposed. Only in tawaf. Which tawaf? This tawaf of Umrah and the tawaf of Ziyarah of Hajj. The tawaf that is followed by sa'i. Otherwise, you do not keep it uncovered when you do sa'i. when you perform salah. Only in tawaf you keep it uncovered. People are keeping the right shoulder uncovered during the entire sa'i as well. That's incorrect. Once the tawaf is completed, cover the shoulder again. Women will not uncover the arm. Why are you going to uncover the arm? Na'udhu billah. Recitation of talbiyah ends with the commencing of tawaf. Yeah, when you start your tawaf, then your talbiyah ends. So that's why we should make as much talbiyah as we can before we start the tawaf. How we come in line with the black stone, turn your body, face it. So this is where the rush is a lot. It's like, before they had the open road tolling and the tollways. So the whole highway is going, but then everyone stops at the tollway. Right. So we used to experience it from Kankakee. We used to drive to CPSA. When we were going to high school in the 90s. They didn't have open road tolling. So every day we would go through, the whole highway would stop. So this is what happens. When people are making tawaf, where is the toll booth? At the Hajj Aswad. So there will be a lot of rush there. Everyone stops, the whole line stops, faces the Kaaba, they say, and istiqbal, face towards the Kaaba, and istilam. You raise one hand like you do in salah, and you say, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. It's a very simple dua. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. Then you put your hands back down to your side and you kiss your hands. This is istiqbal and istilam. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. You say this when you commence any tawaf, even if you're doing nafal tawaf in your normal clothes. So if you are in front of the Hajj al-Aswad in a non-peak time, you will contact it directly, and otherwise you do it indirectly from a distance. If you cannot kiss the stone, then you just kiss your hands after you point towards the stone. It is sufficient to be in line with the black stone, just in line, perpendicular to it. Then you kiss your hands, put them down. You do it 8 times. Why 8 times? Before you start your tawaf, then every single time. Before your first shot, after the end of the first shot, after the end of the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So you'll end up doing istilam how many times? 8 times. 8 times you'll make istilam. So this is what I was talking about. That the Hajj al-Aswad is here. You can tell that this line is all golden. It has calligraphy. This corner. The corner of the Hajj al-Aswad has calligraphy from the top to the bottom. The other corners don't have it. After you perform istilam, you begin the tawaf of the Kaaba. A male will walk briskly in the first 3 rounds. This is called Ramal. This is the whole historical significance of this. We can cover later. Because Umratul Qada, Rasulullah when he performed it, then the mushrikeen of Makkah said that, oh, they're sick now. So that's why they proved, inshallah, I'm going to stop at the end of Umrah. That's my stopping point, and then we'll have a break before we start the Hajj. So we finish Medina, we're going to finish Umrah, then Brother Amir is going to go over logistics, then we'll have lunch. After lunch, we'll continue with Hajj, inshallah. The discussion of Hajj. So the first 3 rounds is you move faster. This is called Ramal. If you cannot because of crowds or because of your wife is with you, then you can go normally. A female will not do Ramal, she will walk normally. And those males who are doing Ramal, if they're single without wives with them, they can, after the first 3 rounds, then the remaining 4 you go slowly. And you only do this in that tawaf which has a sa'i after it. What does that mean? Tawaf of Umrah has a sa'i after it. Tawaf of Hajj, Tawaf of Ziyarah, it has a sa'i after it. And which tawaf does not have a sa'i after it? Tawaf al-Wada', the farewell one doesn't have a sa'i, and the nafal one doesn't have a sa'i. So this is a unique terminology. That tawaf followed by a sa'i includes the tawaf of Umrah, and it also includes the tawaf of Hajj. In nafal, you don't do Ramal, you don't have to go fast in the first 3 rounds, and you don't do istibar. Why you don't do istibar? Because you're not wearing ihram. Right? You're not wearing ihram in a nafal tawaf. You're wearing normal clothes in a nafal tawaf. So how are you going to expose your right arm? We covered this, black stone, starting point, end point, 7 times. Okay, Do you have to remember, is it clockwise or counterclockwise? Mute point. You're not going to have 1 million people going one direction, you're going to go other direction. If you're going to do that, you have bigger problems. So don't worry about that. Is it clockwise, right? वो मसला है तो और मसले हैं. Okay, one must walk around the hatim and not cut through. Yeah, what this means is, when you come to the hatim, when you're making, you say that यहाँ से मैं cut मारता हूँ, right? I will reduce my tawaf, make it shorter. You can't do that. You have to go around the hatim. The hatim is part of the Kaaba too. So if you want to go around between the Kaaba and the hatim, go like this, it's not going to work. Restart the whole function. So you cannot cut through the hatim. During tawaf, recite Quran, dhikr, and dua. Yeah, in tawaf, what are you supposed to do? The specific du'as that are there in the books are not proven from hadith, with the exception of between Rukn Yamani and Hajar Aswad. This part, there's a specific dua. Everyone knows it already, just with one addition at the end. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. Hopefully there's some khair in the ummah, people will still be reciting it loudly, you can follow along. ربنا آتنا. That part is masnoon. Otherwise the rest of the tawaf, there is no specific pehli chakkar ki dua, dusri chakkar ki dua, tisri chakkar ki dua. Allah knows where it's not proven from hadith. You can come up with your own du'as. You're sitting and reading that, you're not feeling it because you're trying to read it and you're stuck and you're getting pushed around. Try to make dua from your heart. The best thing is come up with a strategy. First chakkar, for example, first chakkar, first circumambulation, I'll praise Allah Ta'ala. Second circumambulation, I'll send salawat on Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Third circumambulation, I will make dua for all my sins. I'll remember all my sins and make dua of maghfirah. Fourth one, I will make dua for my parents. Fifth one, I will make dua for my children. And I will make dua for my deen. I will make dua for my dunya. I will make dua for the ummah. One chakkar, one whole circumambulation, dua for the entire ummah. Like that, you have some strategy and you divide up your duas. So you know what to do. Empty mind becomes devil's workshop. You don't know what you're doing. You're going to be looking at people. You're going to be, updating your Facebook. I'm in my third round. Okay, so don't read duas loudly, like the Iranian groups and the other groups. They come, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad, right? The Farsi tone. You'll see those groups. This is wrong. You're reading loud manner, disturbing others. It's supposed to be a silent, quietly doing dhikr. This group duas we will not do. You're supposed to do it individually. Just like to eat. Right? You're doing tawaf, right? That's not right. Keep it, wait after the tawaf, then eat. One may drink zamzam in between if you feel thirsty. Avoid talking. People are doing tawaf on the cell phone. Na'udzubillah. While performing tawaf, if one's wudu break, first salat starts, this is FAQ. One needs to take a break. It's permissible to pause the tawaf and continue from the very place you stopped. There's different fatwa on this. This is Muftabihi as well. Mufti Faraz, he has the reference here on the bottom. So, you have to have wudu. Tawaf bil bayti salat. Tawaf, you have to have wudu. If you break your wudu, you have to restart from there. Go back. In sa'i, you don't have to have wudu. In sa'i, you do not have to have wudu. It's better to, but you don't have to. It is mustahab to touch Rukn Yamani if possible. If you cannot touch it, then there's no gesturing towards it from afar. There's no istilam from afar. Rukn Yamani, if you're there, you only touch it, you don't kiss it. Kissing is only for Hajar Aswad. This is Rukn Yamani. This exposed corner is Rukn Yamani. You touch it with the right hand. After the istilam of the seventh round, now your tawaf is complete. 8 istilam in total. Then is wajib to perform 2 rakat salah. It should not be performed in makruh times, which is after fajr till sunrise, right before dhuhr time, and after asr till sunset. It's preferable to perform it by maqam Ibrahim if وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى, if there is no rush. Will there be rush in Hajj? Definitely. Therefore, This is such a problem in the ummah. A million people are trying to do tawaf, and people say, I don't care, I'm going to perform my 2 rakats right by Maqam Ibrahim, and they're blocking people, and people are trampling over them. Why? You have the whole haram, 5 million, 4 million capacity haram there. Go back, perform anywhere in the haram is fine. But people insist on performing it right in the middle of the tawaf. Do not become one of those. Make dua for those who don't understand. We do not want to be blocking the tawaf and insist on performing right by the Maqam Ibrahim. Then you do sa'i. Sa'i is wajib element in umrah. It is performed after tawaf. We know the story. We heard it many times about Hajar alayhi salam in the water in the Zamzam, and how she was looking for the baby who was crying, Ismail alayhi salam. Between Safa and Marwa, you start at Safa and at Marwa. In this area it's called the Mas'a. You, after performing the 2 rakat of tawaf, then you go in by the Hajar Aswad, do istilam for starting sa'i. This is mustahab to do this. This is the 9th one. Rarely anyone has time to do this, but if you can, this is mustahab. You did 8 istilam, you are 9th one. Going back to the Hajar Aswad, do istilam for starting sa'i. The 9th istilam. Then you exit the masjid, go towards the Safa mountain, right? The Safa one is the one attached, and the Marwa is the one detached. Safa Marwa. This is a construction photograph. Alright, and then when you go to stand on the mountain of Safa, okay, if you are on the ground level, you have to go incline up and on the mountain. If you go on 2nd level, 3rd level, 4th level, it's flat. There's no incline, decline. It's like on the treadmill. You want to do incline treadmill, go on ground level. You want a flat, go on 2nd level. It's easier on 2nd level. Face the Qibla, and then you say Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. Make dua to Allah Ta'ala. Inna Safa wal Marwa min sha'airillah. You can recite the ayah. Then head towards Marwa. When you come between Milain, Akhdarain, the green lights, the male should run until the next green light. Someone will say the original one who ran was a female, but she was no non-mahrams around. There was no one around. That's why she was running, because the baby was going to die. But now, if women are running, there are men around. So even though the original one who ran was a woman, right now the commandment is not for the women to run, but rather the males to run. Is that clear? Right. Safa Marwa. Women will not run between the 2 green lights. When a person reaches Marwa, now he's completed 1 lap, then he will say, turn towards the Qibla, say Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, make dua. Then you head towards Safa. Then you say Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, then you make dua, head towards Marwa. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. Keep on making dua and going back and forth. 7th lap will end at Marwa. If your 7th lap ends at Safa, then it's wrong counting. This is a picture. Safa start, Bidayatul Safa. They have Arabic, English, Urdu. Bidayatul Safa. Safa starts. Safa, Shuru' Safa. Right. We have to fix this thing. It's not coming so clear. And then we have Marwa mountain. This is now, there's some rock that is there. There's a rock here, and it's covered by the building. After standing on Marwa, the 7th time making dua, it's mustahab to perform 2 rakat. After tawaf, it was wajib to perform 2 rakat. After sa'i, it's not wajib, it's mustahab. It's better. That's the difference. It's not necessary to have wudu in performing sa'i. Is it necessary to have wudu in tawaf? Yes. In sa'i, it's not necessary. Then make dhikr and dua. In the sa'i also, you can make tasbihat, takbir, salawat. We're almost finished with the umrah now. Amr Bhai can come forward. And if salah starts or one needs to take a break, it is permissible to continue from where one paused. If you take a break, restart from where you paused. Then at the end of sa'i, you shave your head or trim your hair. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Rahimallahu al-muhalliqeen. May Allah's mercy be on those who shave their head. The Sahaba said, Wal muqassirin ya Rasulullah. What about those who trim? The fashion conscious ones. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Rahimallahu al-muhalliqeen. May Allah's mercy be on those who shave their heads. Wal muqassirin ya Rasulullah. What about those who trim? Rahimallahu al-muhalliqeen. 3 times he made dua for those who shave their head, and 1 time he made dua wal muqassirin, for those who trim their hair. So shaving the head is better than trimming the hair. Why? Because what happened was, when they would capture a person, and when they raid a caravan and capture somebody, and they would sell him into slavery, the sign that he's a slave is they would shave the head. Now he's a slave. When we shave our head, we declare that we are entering the slavery of Allah. Right? When we are born also, we shave the head of the baby for the aqiqah, and then we shave the head 2 times, right? We shave the head at the 7th day. When we shave the head, this means that we are now declaring we are sold in the market as a slave of Allah. Abdullah and Amatullah. All the hair on the head should be shaved or trimmed. It is permissible to cut one's own hair or to go to the barbers. This is an interesting masala. You know why? People ask this. When you're in ihram, can you trim your hair? You cannot cut your hair. But I'm still in ihram, can I cut my hair? Yeah, because you're done with the arkan. When you want to come out of ihram, you can cut your own hair. When you're still in ihram, active ihram status, you cannot cut your hair. But when you're coming out, you can. The woman will cut only 1 inch of her hair, no more. She can cut it herself. She will take the end of her ponytail, wrap it around, and cut. Once a person cuts his or her hair, they are free from the laws of ihram. Umrah is complete. So, this is the completion of Umrah. Throughout this program, if any questions, please text 630-360-2373. That's the masjid number. 630-360-2373. This is for men, women, and live stream. Anyone, all those questions will be answered inshallah at the end. 630-360-2373. Or go to Masjid Dar Salam website and you can see the contact number of the masjid. That's the masjid number. Okay, so now we finished Medina Munawwara, we finished Umrah, and we still have to do the 5 days of Hajj after lunch. And before we break for lunch, we have Amir Bhai, mashallah, who is who does one of the group leaders, mashallah, does great khidmah with the Hajjaj, and he will go over some of the logistics. For majority of the people here are from Yasin Hajj, and we have other guests as well. He'll be speaking on some of the logistics for Yasin Hajj. Jazakullahu Khairun. Amir Abdul Jalil, Muslim Association of Bolingbrook, mashallah, active member and great volunteer. So. No, I'm done. I need to.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulih al-kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I'm going to brief the logistics side specific to the Yasin Hajj groups, inshallah. So my name is Amir Abdul Jalil, and I will be leading the group leaving on the 11th of August, inshallah, via Turkey. So and inshallah, Mufti Minhaj, alhamdulillah, will be the accompanying scholar with that batch. So we have different groups within Yasin Hajj and Umrah that are departing on different dates, arriving on different dates. But for the most part, we will inshallah have 2 main groups, actually 3 main groups. The first group that departs next week will be inshallah Mufti Azaz, who is in the back, inshallah. Mufti Azaz will be the scholar, and Hafiz Umar Badala will be the logistic lead for that group. And majority of that group, inshallah, which is the deluxe group, departs next weekend, inshallah. So can I get a raise of hands for those departing next week through Yasin Hajj and Umrah? Okay, so inshallah, if you have any questions, inshallah, you can see them now after we're done speaking here. And if you're not on the WhatsApp group, my recommendation is to get in touch with Mufti Azaz and Hafiz Umar Badla in the back so that you can be added to the WhatsApp group, inshallah. The second group is going to be led by Maulana Amjad Saab. He's out of town, so that's why he's not present. But this is the executive group. And the scholar for this group will be Farooq Bhai, Brother Farooq Patel in the back, in the blue shirt. Alhamdulillah, former president of Masjid al-Huda and still a board member, mashallah. So he, alhamdulillah, has a lot of energy. And if I get tired at Hajj, I just look at Farooq Bhai and alhamdulillah, I call Allah's name first and I look at Farooq Bhai and I'm pumped, alhamdulillah. So for those of you who are traveling on executive, I believe the group starts departures on the 10th of August, so they will be your leads, inshallah. And this executive group, inshallah, will join with the group that Mufti Minhaj will be leading for the Express, and myself will be one group primarily when we land into Medina Munawwara, inshallah. And the final group, alhamdulillah, that departs will be Mufti Azimuddin's group, Mufti Azim, mashallah, in the back, and the accompanying scholar will be Ali Bhai. So Ali Bhai, I think he's either in here or in the lobby. Has anyone met Ali? Everyone's met Ali Bhai, right? There he is, right there in the back, coming in. So he's the owner of Yasin Hajj and Umrah, and he will be the, inshallah, the contact for the VIP groups. So just a couple of things, alhamdulillah, we're trying to be as organized as we can be, because we have a very big group, alhamdulillah, going with us this year with Yasin Hajj and Umrah. Some things that you need to take care of on your own. Inshallah, today we have the passports that will be given out, and along with that we have the list for Qurbani. So all of the Hajis will be expected to do the Qurbani, but that'll be facilitated by Ali Bhai. So you paid, the fee for the Qurbani, or you will pay for the Qurbani for your Hajj, Damish Shukr, and we need your father's name for that. So there is a list both on the brother's side and the sister's side. And just to mention on the sister's side, Sister Humaira, who is Ali Bhai's wife, she is going to be the sister lead, inshallah. She will be with us in Hajj as well. She's downstairs in the sister's area. Raise your hand, please, Sister Humaira, if, on the sister's side, so everybody knows who you are. I'm sure a lot of the sisters have spoken to you on the phone, so alhamdulillah, you can have a face to the name that way. So if you have any questions on the sister's side, she is your lead, inshallah. Some of the things that we expect are, again, the Qurbani list. We need your father's name both on the sister's side and the brother's side to make sure we give the accurate lists for your Qurbani to occur. Additionally, those who are going via Turkish Airlines, so that's the group that departs on August 10th and August 11th. You would need to take care of your e-visas online. So you're going to have your passports already. My recommendation is to go to the website. I believe an email was sent out with those instructions. So go to the website. It takes about 3 minutes max to fill out. Make sure that you choose your nationality accordingly. So I know the instructions said U.S. passport holder, but that applies to obviously U.S. citizens. But you are going to choose your country of nationality in that website, as instructed on the website. And I think there's a small fee for that, but you will get reimbursed accordingly. You do need this to check into the hotel in Turkey, because we have a one-night stay, so we're actually going to exit out of customs and get a hotel. So we're going to be, inshallah, in the city of Turkey for that one night. So that visa is very, very important, so you are able to leave the airport. Also, again, I mentioned the importance of the WhatsApp groups. I highly recommend everyone to make sure that you are added on to the WhatsApp group. This will be our primary group sharing information, even in the hotels, while we are, in Saudi, in Medina or Mecca, and Azizia for that matter. It's very easy to put the message on the WhatsApp group so that everybody is following along, and we're going to have it in broadcast mode. And what that means is that we're going to ask everybody not to share anything on there so that nothing important gets missed. And one of the group leaders or the scholar will post information relevant to the day-to-day activities and logistics side specifically. We're also going to have day-to-day bayans over there, so what you got now, don't be overwhelmed by the amount of information you saw. We're going to continue to see this. We're going to continue to talk about this during the days of Hajj, inshallah, in Medina, in Azizia, in Mina, in Arafat, and back in Mecca, inshallah. So every group lead that I mentioned, we're going to also have sub-leads for the flight. So based on when you're departing, you're going to have probably a subgroup leader who will be assigned based on your departure dates and so on and so forth. So that information will come from your group leader, inshallah, your logistical group leader from one of those 4 groups, because there's multiple flights arriving, departing different days, arriving different dates. So inshallah, you'll hear more about that accordingly. All right, what else do I have here? So the scholars are asking that you are welcome to start asking religious questions now. So inshallah, if you have anything, don't think that, this question is not important or it may be, just not the best question to ask. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel shy of asking. Inshallah, if you have something in mind that needs to be asked, go ahead and ask. That's what the WhatsApp groups are for. You can contact the scholar directly. You're welcome to meet with the scholar in the back as well, inshallah, and ask away now. We will have a question and answer session here right after the break is done. So inshallah, I urge you all to come back and list any questions that you have, inshallah. Let's see here. The one-night stay that we have, I believe there's a one-night stay in Turkey, primarily. I don't think anybody has a stay in, is there any other cities that you're going to be staying? If you are, inshallah, in Abu
Inshallah, if we can make our way back inside, inshallah. Hopefully we are refreshed and had our lunch and tea. On the sister side as well, tea was brought out. So please, we tried our best to accommodate all those people who are here for meals. Although we had no exact idea of how many were going to show up, alhamdulillah, more than we expected came, and we tried to accommodate that. If you were missed or you weren't able to get it, we apologize for that, inshallah, but there's some tea and biscuits on the men's side here as well, and the sisters. So do benefit from that, inshallah ta'ala, and refresh yourself. This is now the last portion, and of course, probably the most important, we're going to actually go through the rites of Hajj. So some brothers are maybe thinking that they've already completed the Hajj. No, we have just finished Medina and finished the Umrah, and need to now, inshallah, begin the Hajj part. If you have questions, brothers, sisters, and those who may be still listening online, Skype, on the live stream, you can text message the number. This would be easiest to be able to get everyone's questions. 630-360-2373. That's 630-360-2373. If you can message your questions that you had so far, it will be easy, inshallah, to be able to answer them one after another like that. And hopefully you're able to purchase your books as well by now. If not, if there are some copies left. Did you get a set of books? You got a set of books, huh? आप ले लिया या मैं देखना चाहता हूँ. नहीं वो करने की ज़रूरत है. हजर असवद पे करना है इस्तेलाम दूसरी जगह रुकने यमानी. हाँ नहीं. So as before Mufti bin Hajj joins us here, for the Makkah portion, or the Hajj portion, I would like to continue with a few reminders that I was reading and sharing with you from the book Useful Advice for Travelers to the Haramain. One aspect of, he says that two things that we need to stay away from while we're there, the two C's, okay? And that is copying and criticizing. Copying and criticizing. What does that mean? Is that there is loads of people from across the world there who have come. And many have not had an opportunity to ever even sit for 1 hour like you are sitting here. And hence their understanding of deen is incomplete. So just because we see someone doing something in Hajj does not mean that we should follow them. Whether it's connected with the rites of Hajj or anything else. Because there is a lot of ignorance. Average, general people who have never got an opportunity to learn the deen are coming for Hajj. Their method of prayer, their method of salam, their method of rites of Hajj are not to be emulated. Ask your local scholar in your group and say that, is this something to be done? You see someone praying in a certain way, you see someone doing something in a certain way, do not follow it. Just because there are people who are not aware. I remember one time, Maulana Tariq Jamil Sahib, he was mentioning in his bayan, he said there was a person who, you know, a real genuine story, real story, that this person came in the haram around Ishraq time or Fajr time, and he was doing tawaf, going around the Kaaba. 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 or 5, 6 hours from now. If it started at 5:30 a.m., it's now 12 o'clock. He's still he's going round and round. Then he asked somebody, tawaf kab khatam hoga ye? When is this tawaf going to end? He thought there's going to be some big stop. Now you've completed, everyone moved to the next stage, you know? He just kept on going on for hours, have absolutely no idea that everyone's doing tawaf on their own. You're supposed to do your 7 rounds and move on to sa'i. These are real, you'll see that level of thing. So do not copy people. Number 2, do not criticize. What we see over there, the people of Makkah and Medina and other things of that sort, while we're there, we don't want to be criticizing, because we don't know, in our criticism we may end up being disrespectful to these holy cities and to the custodians of these holy cities and the many righteous people who live there and who visit there. And in there we may end up, because of this bay'adbi and lack of adab and etiquette, we may end up depriving ourselves. And we should look at all these people who come here as the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am a guest and all these are guests. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like we allow for a guest many things. Like for example, brothers have come to the masjid many times. Many brothers have come here first time. So they may not know where the bathroom is. They may not know where the demarcation for the masjid area is. They may end up walking in with their slippers, not knowing that this masjid is shoe-free masjid. So when they're a guest, first time coming, obviously all you do is simply let them know. If a regular student every single day does that same mistake, the rules would be a little bit more strictly enforced if they were to do something of that sort. These are all, you can imagine that these are all guests of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're making mistakes, but at the end of the day, they're doing it out, you know, they've come here in love. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may be forgiving them. Who am I to sit and criticize what they are doing or what anyone else is doing? So this is something else that we should keep in mind. Shukr is to be done through 3 methods. Generally speaking, and during our Hajj trip. Shukr with our tongue, always saying Alhamdulillah, thinking and thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to come on this journey. Shukr with our heart, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to go and to visit the Haramain al-Sharifain and to fulfill this pilgrimage through our heart, and actions. Shukr through actions. That is by constantly doing something that is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we are going for Hajj, my brothers and sisters, this is not only about an opportunity to do ibadah in the form of dhikr and dua and istighfar and making up your qada salah and so forth. There is tons of opportunities to serve people. So if performing 2 rakat salah in Makkah al-Mukarramah is awarded by 100,000 times multiplied, similarly giving 1 riyal or $1 in sadaqah is also extremely rewarding. There are millions and thousands, or rather I should say thousands of people who are performing the Hajj or Umrah or residents of Makkah al-Mukarramah, who are refugees, who are extremely poor people, who are disabled people, etc. So this is an opportunity for us to serve them. I would like you to also be aware that there are actual gangs that have made it their job to come during Hajj and Umrah and to beg for money. So these are not necessarily people who need the money, but they are been brought in from overseas by thugs. Some of them have a broken hand, some of them have a broken foot, and they're forced to pretty much beg for these thugs. So they're placed in all different strategic places. So not everyone is like that, but unfortunately many of them are like that. It's a proper business, like we have even here. We have these gypsies, non-Muslims, they come every Ramadan. And they're situated every Jum'ah. And they do a lot of the Chicago masajid. They wear a scarf, etc. But if you ask them what the kalima, they don't know what the kalima is. Okay? But they know that this is a time when Muslims are giving, so they'll come from different states. So there are those type of people as well. So beyond that, I'm not speaking about that. Beyond that, you will see people in the hot sun. They don't have shade. They don't have food from different parts of the world. And sitting there, you can purchase some food for them and give it to them. This is an amazing thing that we should be looking for opportunities. How can I earn my ajr and reward by doing social service as well? Very few people think about this, but this is a huge need. Buy bottled water, 100 bottles of cold water, and give it to people. Not just people of your own group. That's also rewarding, but alhamdulillah, people in our group, mashallah, alhamdulillah, we're well to do. But as soon as you step out of your Mina tent, look at how we had this nice, beautiful burger. Imagine you have rice, imagine you have salan, and you have already eaten one box and there's another box left over. So now instead what usually happens, they say, okay, it's left over here. And they will let it rot in the hot sun. And then by the end of the night, you have thrown away 200, 300 meals. That same food, if you were to take it outside, and I promise you, if you were to take it outside and you just take the box, before you can even walk 5 or 10 feet, if you say, sabil, or fi sabilillah, people will be rushing to take it. My brother was narrating an incident, and unfortunately, if it happens, you'll see it as well. That one time the food was taken from leftover food from the catering buffet. They have buffet in Mina. Some groups have buffet. So much food. Instead of having rice and salan and 3 different types of gravy separate, they mixed it all together. Kachuma, all of it mixed together. That's not, who wants to eat like that? We wouldn't even eat ourselves like that. They took it all together, and some lady said, this is being wasted. I can't allow it. I want to take it outside and give it to the people. And when she was going outside or have someone was carrying it, and they arrived out in the hot sun under the road, outside on the road, it fell. And that mixed up food fell on the ground. And subhanAllah, she said people rushed and ate right off the floor. These are Hujjaj Baytillah. There are people in Ihram who have literally not eaten today in 2019 and 2018 for the past we don't know how many hours, how many days. And they're eating mixed up food off of the floor. So we have to be thankful so much to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and never allow ourselves to become a source of wasting. What the government does, what the hotel people do, we can't do anything about it. We should feel bad about it. But ourselves, every opportunity that we have in our tents or anywhere else that there's food left over, try ourselves to go outside and give it. And this will soften the heart. Whenever you feel, I'm waiting for Mufti bin Hajj to inshallah come, yeah? Whenever, what happens? These some of the questions? Yeah. Whenever we feel that it's getting too hot. Remember these real examples I'm telling you. You're going to be in Mina, and I'm going to feeling the heat, and you're going to be feeling the heat at 125 degrees or so, 120, 25 degrees that we're going to be at. At that time, if you're feeling a bit hot, what you should simply do is at 11 a.m., 10 a.m., just go out for a walk. And say, I'm going to go just see what's happening. Just go perform wudu, or go to the bathroom, or just walk around the tents. And come back after 10 minutes, and you'll see how nice and cool your tent will have become. Magically, the angels will come and they turn on the AC extra. Well, no, that's not what's happening. Instead, when you go outside, you realize how much actually you're enjoying in your tent. And how that cooler, although it doesn't seem to be working, is actually working full blast, but it's just too hot. But you will value the coolness once you go outside. And you see what type of Hajj other people in 2018 are doing. Make sure you do that. It will make you appreciate what you have a lot more. Unless, if you just stay cooped up inside your area and you don't travel and go out, then you will not be able to appreciate that. At the same time, the tents all look very similar. So I would never advise you to walk alone. I would say to go definitely with 2 to 3 people. Make sure your tag is there. Make sure you look at your surroundings. And don't go for 1 mile, half a mile. Just a few hundred feet. Just to see the sacrifice that people are making who have no tents. Inshallah ta'ala, that will make us much more appreciative of the blessings we have. Shopping, when it comes to shopping, people they ask that, I've been non-stop list of people asking me to bring stuff from Makkah, Medina. Most definitely, the best gift, there's zamzam, there's dates, there's tasbees, there's topis, there's musallas, there's scarves, there's all that good stuff. But there's no gift better than dua. The dua that you make for someone, 5 minutes you spend in the heat in Arafat making dua for someone, is a million times more valuable than any gift that you can bring. So you want to increase those gifts, the gifts of du'as. And you can message someone. That, "Bhai, this is your issue, here I am in the heat of Arafah making dua for you." And it will really mean a lot to them. MashaAllah ta'ala, that you're doing that, you're caring for them, that you're remembering them. Of course, but we still do have to shop. We have to come back, we have to be able to see them. So one best method of that is that we should limit our shopping to the last final 2 days. Instead of any time you see something, say, "I want to get this," make a note. But do not shop every single time you go to the haram, you go into the masjid, don't stop and start shopping. Make a list of it. Anything you see, you said, "I like this, I like that," no problem, buy it, but not now. The last 2 days, you know your flight is 48 hours left, or you're going to leave Medina and go to Makkah in the next 48 or 24 hours, then you will value every minute. Then you'll keep on looking at the watch. I only have 24 hours left. How can I be sitting and strolling around the malls here? And so inshallah ta'ala, you'll be working quicker, faster, and quickly do your shopping. We don't say don't buy, but don't waste time. You do quick purchases. And make intention when you're purchasing that you're supporting the economy of the Muslims. And then you are supporting these Muslims of Medina or Makkah. That through your purchase, inshallah, barakah will come to you by giving to the people of these lands. That's the intention we should make as well. So inshallah, if we limit this time that we spend in the shopping, you will be able to make the purchases. And Nabi ﷺ has said, the most beloved places on earth are the masajid, and the most detested and hated places to Allah are the marketplaces. So even the marketplace of haram is still a place where a lot of time can get wasted. So the time we spend there less, the better it is for us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us all to utilize our time overseas and in haramain, and generally speaking our lives, in the most profitable manner. Ameen.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we completed the Umrah. Then there's a few slides on specific rulings for women. There are 8 acts which are not permissible while experiencing when a woman are in hayd, in the days of impurity, the days of bleeding of every month, performing salah, fasting, reciting the Quran, touching the Quran, entering a masjid. This would include Masjid al-Nabawi and Masjid al-Haram, performing tawaf, intimate relations, any touching between the navel and the knees without a barrier. So these are the actions which are prohibited for a woman during the days of impurity. From amongst these actions, those that pertain to Umrah and Hajj is entering the masjid, meaning Masjid al-Haram, performing tawaf. What you see here, these are significant things which are mentioned in the list, and then there are also significant things which are not in the list. It doesn't say ihram. So that means if a woman is in her hayd and crossing the miqat, she can make the niyat of ihram. She will be in the state of ihram. She will not perform the 2 rakat salah. So there are many different masail that happen for women. It is permissible to take birth control pills to control the bleeding before going for Umrah or Hajj. Despite that, sometimes it happens. And this is a natural thing. It happened to Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha as well. Which one? All those sisters who are asking questions, please, one central place. I cannot be checking different WhatsApp groups at this moment. So I request all the sisters, you can type your questions, send it to the masjid address. We can look at one place. Text the questions to 630-360-2373. 630-360-2373. 630-360-2373. The WhatsApp groups will continue afterwards, during Hajj, inshallah. A woman will not perform the 2 rakat sunnah before ihram if she is in her hayd. She will make the niyyah of ihram and enter into ihram. She does not perform the 2 rakat salah. A woman will recite the talbiyah because talbiyah is a dhikr, it's not an ayah of the Quran. So she can do the talbiyah. She will make the niyyah. She can recite the talbiyah in any dua. I was mentioning about Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha. It happened to her. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam consoled her. She started crying. إن هذا شيء قد كتبه الله على بنات آدم. He said, Allah has made this for all the banat Adam, the daughters of Adam, for the women. Do not worry. She could not do umrah with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam afterwards sent her with her brother to go to Tan'im, and that is a place which is now bearing her name, Masjid Aisha, and make the niyat of ihram, and then redo the umrah. Can you close the door in the lobby? By Jazakullahu Khairun. So this is so a woman should not feel that this means I am not liked by Allah, or Allah is rejecting me, or have other inferiority complex, or go into depression. This is an involuntary thing. It's a biological function, so they should not feel bad about it. It happened to Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha, who was one of the best women of all times at that particular time. A woman can not recite the Quran or perform salah or enter the masjid or perform tawaf. So she can make dhikr, she can send salawat. I mentioned this already. In Umrah, she cannot enter the masjid nor perform tawaf. So if she entered into ihram in a state of hayd, and then she'll have to wait till her hayd is over if she has that much time. And then she can perform her umrah and get out of ihram. She will have to remain in the state of ihram until she performs her umrah. After performing umrah, when she cuts her hair, after doing the tawaf and sa'i, trims the hair, now she can come out of ihram. Until then, she will remain in ihram. If she could not perform umrah because the Hajj days are starting, when the Hajj days start, you cannot perform umrah on the days of Hajj. She's still in her hayd, then she should release herself from ihram of umrah and now enter in state of ihram for Hajj. This is a specific, unique circumstance. In non-Hajj times, if a woman comes and she's in a state of ihram and her hayd is there, she cannot perform umrah. She has to wait till she can perform umrah and then come out. Only in this exception is that because the days of Hajj began, she will go into the ihram of Hajj and she will have to make a qada. A woman will have to perform qada of the umrah and give a dham penalty in this scenario. Umrah should, so this is an ayah of the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tubtilu a'malakum. O those who believe, do not invalidate your actions. So this happens with regard to nafil fast, nafil salah, any nafil action. If you start it, then you have to complete it. If you break it, you'll have to make qada of it. Umrah should not be performed between 9th to 13th. These are the 5 days, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The 5 days of Hajj. Umrah should not be performed. These are the days of Hajj. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said we should not be performing Umrah on these days. Now we completed the Umrah. There were a few slides left regarding the woman I did not discuss at the time. After the Umrah is completed, you are now free from all the prohibitions of Ihram. Those who are coming from Medina, we will try to do Umrah right away and then come out of Ihram. And then have 1 or 2 days rest before we start Hajj. Continue to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the most sacred place. Now we are doing Hajj inshallah. No, they cannot make the Umrah tawaf. So I can look at this masla up. If you did the tawaf, then the no, okay. Wudu is not requirement for sa'i. Hadith asghar is, but hadith akbar in janaba, can you do sa'i? I'll look that up. Hajj guide. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was asked, Ayyul a'mali afdal, which is the best action? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Imanun billahi wa rasuli, to believe in Allah and His Rasul. Then he was asked, Thumma madha, what is after that? He said, Jihadun fi sabilillah, jihad in the path of Allah. Then Thumma madha, he said, Hajjun mabrur, and accepted Hajj. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the performance of Umrah, al-Umratu ila al-Umrah, kafaratun lima baynahuma, it becomes an expiation for all the sins committed in between. وَالْحَجُّ الْمَبْرُورُ لَيْسَ لَهُ جَزَاءٌ إِلَّا الْجَنَّةِ. And the reward for an accepted Hajj is nothing but Jannah itself. مَنْ حَجَّ لِلَّهِ فَلَمْ يَرْفُثْ وَلَمْ يَفْسُقْ رَجَعَ كَيَوْمٍ وَلَدَتْهُ أُمُّهُ. The one who performs the Hajj does not commit any obscenity or wrongdoing, they will come back like the day they were born. This is the overview of Hajj. This is a procedure for Hajj Tamattu'. This is what 90% will be doing. Hajj Tamattu' is the easiest one. There's Hajj Ifrad and Hajj Qiran as well. Hajj Tamattu' is when you do Umrah, come out of the Ihram. Then you make the niyat of Ihram of Hajj and then you do Hajj. That's called Tamattu'. For Hajj Tamattu', you have to give a qurbani of an animal. Right. Then there is Hajj of Qiran. Hajj of Qiran is where you put the Ihram on, you do your Umrah and you don't come out of Ihram. You continue with the Ihram until Hajj and do Hajj. And Hajj Ifrad is where you do only Hajj, you don't do the Umrah with it. Since majority of the Ummah is doing Hajj of Tamattu', we're going to do Hajj of Tamattu'. If anyone is doing Qiran, we can discuss that afterwards. So, Ihram for Hajj is Farad, of course. You will put a new Ihram on, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, Labbaik bi Hajjin this time. And for this, you will not go to the miqat. You will do it right from where you are, in your hotel, in the haram, or in Aziziyah where you're staying. Wherever you're staying, you will put on the ihram of Hajj right there. Easy way to remember is, Umrah is performed by the Kaaba, Tawaf and Sa'i. So you put your ihram on outside the miqat, then you come inside. The main day of Hajj is Arafah. Arafah is outside the haram. So you put your ihram on inside the haram, then you go out to Arafah. So from inside out is Hajj, and from outside in is Umrah. There's no point to go outside to put your ihram on when you're going to go do your Arafah outside. Ihram for Hajj is obligatory farad. Then you have wuquf of Mina on the 8th. You come on the 8th in Mina and you perform Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha. It's sunnah to come before Dhuhr. And you perform Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha. And then the next day, 9th, you perform Fajr. After performing Fajr on the 9th, you leave Mina and go to Arafat. That's number 3, Wuquf Arafah. This is farad. It's absolutely obligatory. You have to be there on the 9th. Those people who are very sick in hospitals and in ambulances, they come with them into Arafah on the 9th. They skip the sunnah of Wuquf Mina. Rest of us, able-bodied, we should perform the sunnah of Mina on the 8th. Because this is our farad Hajj, we want to follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No one is exempted from number 3, Wuquf Arafah on the 9th. We perform Dhuhr there, Asr there, Maghrib in it. Dhuhr and Asr, we make dua and then we leave. We do not perform Maghrib. We go to Muzdalifah, we spend the night there. We perform Maghrib and Isha, even if you get there late, even if you get there midnight, you perform Maghrib and Isha together. And then the women and children can leave early, but the men should remain, able-bodied men should remain all the way till Fajr. And after the Fajr, then is the Wuquf of Muzdalifah, where you stand and make dua. Wuquf is standing and making dua. Wuquf in Arafah, and then there's Wuquf in Muzdalifah. This is wajib. You should not leave the Wuquf of Muzdalifah and to exit early unless you are exempted. After we leave Muzdalifah, then there's Wuquf in Mina on the 10th. You stay there, this is Sunnah. On the 10th is a very busy day, 10th of Zul Hijjah is the day of Eid. The Hujjaj do not perform Eid as they're travelers. They will make Rami only of the big pillar, 7 stones. Then you will have your sacrificial animal sacrificed on your behalf, or if someone is going to do it themselves, that's called Nahar. Nahar is a particular sacrifice of the camel, and Zabiha is for the goats and the cows. Nahar is a particular type of slaughtering for the camel. Halaq or qasar is shaving the head or trimming the hair. If you already did for Umrah and you have a little stubble, that's fine, you can shave that. Or you can trim your hair after Umrah with a machine and then completely shave it after Hajj. Even if you shaved it for Umrah 3 days before, 2 days before, and it's a little bit hair, you will have to shave that off as well. Even if a person is bald, then they will have to pass the blade over their bald head. And after that, you come out of Ihram, and then you do your Tawaf al-Ziyarah. This is also known as Tawaf al-Ifada. This is the farad in Hajj. If you notice, the farad are only 3. One is actually a condition, which is Ihram number 1. Then you have number 3, Arafat. And then you have this one, number 9, Tawaf. These are absolutely integral. You cannot skip these arkan. Then is Sa'i, which is wajib. If you miss a wajib, you can give a dam. But if you miss a rukun, there is no Hajj. There is no penalty you can do to make it up. If you miss Arafat completely, you just couldn't make it there. Arafat means you have to just be on the plain of Arafat on the 9th before Maghrib. If you absolutely missed it somehow, then your Hajj itself is invalid. Nothing can make it up. Tawaf al-Ziyarah has a longer time period. You can do it on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. So you will have time to do it. But it's important that we know that it's farad. Then you have the wajib, number 10. Then you do wuquf of Mina on the 11th day. You do Rami of the 3 pillars on the 11th. Then on the 12th you stay in Mina and you Rami, which is pelting the 3 pillars. Then you have an option. You can leave Mina before the sunset of the 12th, go back to Makkah, or you can stay in Mina on the 13th and do Rami again on the 13th. Then before you leave, there's Tawaf al-Wada'. This is the whole Hajj. This looks like a lot. I'm sure most of you have already been reading. You might just have some questions, that's why we'll go over that. Coming into the state of Ihram for Hajj. What are the restrictions of Ihram? We already covered that. How to perform the 2 rakat, Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun, Qul Allahu ahad, we covered that. But now for Hajj, you come into the state of Ihram by the 8th of Zulhijjah. It is better to come into the state of Ihram for Hajj prior to the 8th of Zulhijjah. It is preferable to come into the state of Ihram in Al-Masjidul Haram, in Makkah. However, you can do it from your hotel or in Shisha or Azizia where you're staying. You simply just wear the ihram in your hotel room, then you proceed to the masjid, then you make the niyat of Hajj. You say, Labbayka bi Hajjin. Allahumma inni uridu al-Hajja, fayassirhu li wa taqabbalhu minni. Now you are entered into the state of Ihram. In Hajj of Tamattu', there is no Tawaf al-Qudum. Tawaf al-Qudum is for the Qadim, the one who's coming in from outside. He does an initial Tawaf, like when you're doing Hajj of Ifrad. When you're coming in from outside and you're not doing an Umrah, you're doing Hajj Ifrad, only Hajj, then you will do one initial Tawaf. That initial Tawaf is called Tawaful Qudum. But since you already did Umrah, now you're treated as a Makkan, so you do not do Tawaful Qudum. In Tamattu' there is no Tawaful Qudum. The first day, 8th Dhul Hijjah, Yawm al-Tarwiyah. And one will perform Fajr Salah in Makkah. Then you leave Makkah for Mina after sunrise. It's permissible to go before sunrise, but it's contrary to the Sunnah. You will perform 5 Salah there. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and next day Fajr. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, 4, and next day Fajr, 5 Salah. And it's Sunnah that you spend the night in Mina, and you Sunnah to perform Fajr there. Why we're saying this is because people tend to skip. Some of the groups, they say that, oh, we'll go straight to Arafat. They want to skip this initial stay in Mina, this one day. So if we do not want to skip it, it's a Sunnah, we will try to fulfill that, inshallah. Sometimes people want to leave early to Arafat, beat the rush. So they'll leave in the night to Arafat, before the rush. But you are skipping the Sunnah of performing the Fajr in Mina. That's why he's saying it's Sunnah to spend the night in Mina, spend the whole night. Sunnah to perform Fajr there. Otherwise, if you go early, you're praying Fajr in Arafat. Or you go late and you're reaching there, before Maghrib. That's also not right. You should perform Fajr in Mina and then head out. That's the Sunnah time. Yes, it's a rush time, but it's the Sunnah time. So, this thing, there are multiple slides that show this. Miqat was number one. You arrive and you change into ihram. That's when you do your umrah. Then you come into Makkah. You finish your umrah and you're waited. Then you go to Mina. You spend the 1 day in Mina, the 8th of Zulhijjah. After that, you jump. From number 3, you go all the way to number 4. This is the big journey. From Mina all the way to Arafat. And when you go to Arafat, you will spend the day in Arafat, in dua, in wuquf. This is the one day where everyone actually gets serious and you feel like you're in Hajj. You feel the spirituality on the day of Arafat. Now people will be coming to Arafat on their own times, different. Some people, as I said, come early, some people come late. But everyone is there. The entire population of Hajjaj is in Arafat at the same time. Otherwise, before Hajj, after Hajj, the population is distributed. Some people are in Medina, some people are in Makkah, some people are doing tawaf, some people are doing sa'i, some people are in Riyadh al-Jannah, in Medina, all over the place. So it's distributed. But in Arafat, everyone is there. And they're coming in at different times, but the leaving time, everyone is leaving right after sunset. So that is the biggest exodus of people. The huge rush of people is when they're leaving Arafat. That's when you see the entire humanity coming out. Pouring out of Arafat after Maghrib on the 9th, they come to Muzdalifah, number 5. This is a plane, right? Basically, your hotel is 5-star in Makkah. Then when you come to Mina, it's like 3-star. But it's solid accommodation, walls, and they're bedding, and then you come to Arafat, it goes down to material-wise 2-star. Then when you come to Muzdalifah, it's 0-star. Because you have no structure and you're out on the ground. And you have nothing above you, nothing beneath you. Right? Just that's how it is. Because you're not there. Mina, they build it up and made solid tents that are fire resistant, and they have ACs, and they have coolers, and it's actually built up. They invested a lot in Mina because you stay there. You stay there before Arafat on the 8th, and then again you will stay the 10th, 11th, 12th, some even stay 13th. So Mina has a lot of investment. There's no investment in Muzdalifah. There's even a shortage of bathrooms. So just so you're mentally prepared. You need to drink to remain hydrated, but at the same time, it's a difficulty to go to the bathroom in Muzdalifah. Get in the line early before it becomes an emergency. So Muzdalifah is just an open plain. You spend a few hours there, but the thing is, you're so exhausted from your ibadah in Arafat day that even though it's such terrible material circumstances, you do fall asleep, inshallah. And then, this is the night where it's a sunnah to sleep the night. There's no tahajjud, you sleep. Then after Fajr is the dua, it's opposite. The wuquf of Muzdalifah is not the tahajjud time. The wuquf of Muzdalifah is after Fajr. So after Fajr, you make wuquf here, and then, now it's, which day is it? 10th. Number 5. Now you come back to number 6, Mina. When you come to 6, Mina, this is the 10th. A very busy day. You start off by pelting the big, they call it the big shaitan, Aqaba, the big one. Because Ibrahim a.s. was misguided there, and he was tried to be misguided by Iblis, and he pelted him. Then where the mother Hajar a.s. was, shaitan was trying to misguide her, is the middle one. And where he tried to misguide Ismail, the son, is the little one. In Arabic, that's what it's called. Al-Jamratul Kubra, Al-Jamratul Wusta, and Al-Jamratul Sughra. The big Jamra, the middle Jamra, and the small Jamra. So it's just the big one on the 10th, 7. Right? And then Mina is a valley. The Jamarat is on the Makkah side. It's all the way on the Makkah side. So you do the Jamarat there. You're coming from Muzdalifah and you have to walk through the whole Mina to get to the opposite side. The American camps in Mina, the American camp is right by the border of Muzdalifah. At this edge, the border of Muzdalifah. And the Jamarat is on the border of Makkah side. From one side to the other side. So you get to walk through the whole Mina. The North American tents are the Muzdalifah side. You can see the sign out of your camp. End of Mina, beginning of Muzdalifah. You're right on the edge of Mina. And where is the Jamarat? All the way on the opposite extreme. After you do the Rami, then you will get the animal slaughtered, then you will shave your head, then you will come out of Ihram, then you will make Tawaf. You'll make Tawaf either on the 10th, the same day, go to Makkah, make Tawaf. If you're too exhausted, we'll make Mashwara. You can do it on the 11th, you can do it on the 12th. You can do it in the day, you can do it in the night. 10th, 11th, 12th, any of these days. Then after you do your Tawaf, what do you do on the 11th and 12th? You stone all the three. 7, 7, 7, 21. 21 stones are pelted on the 11th, 21 on the 12th. If you choose to stay, on the 13th as well. This is the sign. Bidayatu Mina. Mina starts here. This is a picture of the camps with the AC coolers. In the background you see those minarets. Those minarets is Masjidul Khayf. Masjidul Khayf is the Masjid of Mina. And Masjidul Namira is the Masjid of Arafat that is open one day in a year. Otherwise, there is no population in Arafat, local population, no habitation. This is an aerial view of Mina with all the camps of the entire world doing Hajj. The first day, 8th Dhul Hijjah, is Yawm al-Tarbiyah. If you are staying in Makkah for 15 days, then you perform Salah in full. Rarely anyone is doing that. If someone happens to be staying there in Makkah for 15 days, then you perform 4 rak'ah. If you're performing behind the Imam, whether you're a traveler or not, you will automatically get upgraded to perform 4. If you're performing individual or the Imam himself is a traveler, then you will perform 2. If you're staying less than 15 days in Makkah. Overall, your trip might be more than 15 days, but it's split between Medina and Makkah. So you're not staying 15 days in Makkah. So therefore, you will be a musafir. So you will be performing 2 rakat salah. Continue to spend the day and night in ibadah, tilawah, dhikr, nawafil, dua. On the second day, 9th Dhul Hijjah, it becomes wajib to recite Takbir al-Tashriq. This is for everyone in the entire world, not only for Hujjaj. Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. You should recite, men and women, both have to recite the Takbir from the Fajr of the 9th till the Asr of the 13th. This is a reminder. Men will recite it loudly, women will recite it softly. Fajr of the 9th till Asr of the 13th. After every Salah, we recite the Takbir. You remember, this happens throughout the world. Even in America, we will do it, whoever is not going for Hajj. The second day, 9th, continuing, you perform Fajr at Mina. Then after Fajr, you head out to Arafah. I covered this when I was going over the map already. Now we're doing this slide. It's a repetition, and unless you're confused that is something else going on, you go back to Arafat. No, this is the same thing I discussed. It is wajib to perform wuquf in Arafat from midday until sunset. You have to remain within the boundaries of Arafat. We highly, strongly warn people that of not standing in the sun so long that they get sunstroke or trying to get to the mountain, Jabal al-Rahmah. You should stay within your camp and make wuquf. It is not additional reward to go to the top of the mountain. Rasulullah himself on Jabal al-Rahmah, he gave his khutbah at the bottom of that hill, not on the top. Then Arafat starts here. Okay, this is a sign. Bidayah to Arafat. If you are performing with your own group without performing behind the Imam, then you perform Dhuhr and Asr in their own times. If you go to Masjid al-Namira, then you will perform it together. You continue dhikr and dua in this plain of Arafat. Talibiyah, you recite Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik. You can stand anywhere in Arafat. It's not necessary to be near the Jabal al-Rahmah. Climbing the mountain, offering salah on it is not established from the Sunnah. No additional virtue. Many people fight for this. They have this image that they're going to be on the mountain on the day of Arafah. So that's not rewarding. What happens is that it takes you 3 hours to get there, 3 hours to get back, you get lost. Your whole day Arafah is running around, getting to the mountain and getting back to the camp. And you wasted that one day of Hajj, the most important day of Hajj, just to get to the mountaintop. Don't do that. This is the humanity on the day of Arafat. This is the same mountain in the middle. This is the mountain. You really don't see it. It's all white, covered with ihrams. And then this is the humanity. You will be one of them. Inshallah. This is less crowd now. So people try to get to the top. That is just to mark that particular hill is Jabal al-Rahmah. It does not mean that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave his khutbah on top there. He gave the khutbah by the bottom of that mountain. It is wajib to stay in Arafat until sunset. When is it wajib to come? It's not wajib to come anytime. That's why I told you people entering Arafat on their own time. So there's not much rush going into Arafat. The rush will be leaving Arafat. That's the biggest rush in the entire Hajj. Everyone was there. All the local Hujjaj, all the Saudi Hujjaj who are doing Hajj every year, all those type of people, they'll also be there. All the employees, all the Hajj operators, they will be there. Everyone will be there. No one is going to miss this. It is not permissible to depart from Arafat before Maghrib. So after Maghrib, the way that people rush out, it's pretty astounding. After sunset, one should leave immediately for Muzdalifah. It is on top of it is mustahab to leave immediately. Do not perform Maghrib in Arafat. Do not perform Maghrib on the way. Do not perform Isha. Maghrib will be performed with Isha in the Isha time. Maghrib and Isha will be performed late in Muzdalifah. Now we are at number 5. We are in Muzdalifah. Now from Muzdalifah, we're going to make the wuquf in the morning, then go to 6. Muzdalifah starts here. This is a night sign because you reach there in the night. If you see Muzdalifah starts here in the day, something's wrong. You should be coming in the night here. This is okay. Maghrib and Isha performed. How do you do Maghrib and Isha? First, you'll do one adhan. Then you'll do one iqamah. Then you do farad al-Maghrib, 3 rakat. Straight after that, you do farad al-Isha. 3 rakat Maghrib, 2 rakat Isha. 2 rakat Isha, not 4. Then you perform the Sunnah of Maghrib, the Sunnah of Isha, and the Witr of Isha. After the Isha. 2 rakat Sunnah for Maghrib, 2 rakat Sunnah for Isha, 3 rakat Witr, yes. The Sunnah is not performed in congregation, the Witr is not performed in congregation. For the Farad is performed in congregation with your own groups, small groups, multiple Jamaats. Several thousands and thousands of Jamaats will be performed. This is a night view of Muzdalifah. See, there's no tents. It's just lights and people on the ground. It is recommended in Muzdalifah, one action you have to do is to collect your pebbles. It's mustahab. How many pebbles? The number is coming. It is permissible to collect the pebbles from anywhere in the haram, but it's mustahab to do it in Muzdalifah. But you should not take the pebbles that people dropped it in by the Jamarat. You can't access those anymore. They go down the drain. So for the 10th of Zulhijjah, you collect 7. For the 11, you collect 21. 7 times 3, 21. For the 12th, another 21. If you're staying on the 13th, another 21. So if you're going to leave on the 12th, you have 49. And if you're going to continue on the 13th, then you need 70 pebbles. You should keep some extra as well, because you might drop them. If you drop them, then you will need some extra. So most of the group are not staying on the 13th. So if you have about 55, 60 pebbles, 70 pebbles, it's more than enough. You need 49 only. They should be around the size of a chickpea. You keep a bag and you collect them and put them in the bag. If one performs Maghrib and Isha individually, you will still perform them together, Maghrib and Isha, and perform the Sunnah and Witr after the Isha prayer. The Sunnah thing is to perform the 3 rakat Maghrib immediately followed by 2 rakat Isha. Then you go back and do the Sunnah. It is Sunnah to spend the night in Muzdalifah, but those who are weak, the Prophet ﷺ, the older men and the women, he let them go early, after half the night, to Mina. Fajr should be performed in the beginning time. And then it's wajib, it's necessary to perform wuquf, means stand and make dua. This one doesn't receive that much attention from the press. Everyone knows about wuquf of Arafat, lot of public awareness. But the wuquf of Muzdalifah, people miss it. They don't realize that it's actually wajib. That's why I'm highlighting it. It's wajib to perform wuquf for a short moment between Fajr and sunrise. After Fajr, you actually stand and make dua till sunrise. Until just before the sunrise. Salah, dhikr and dua. This is one of the wajib that the ummah is missing. Some people are still doing it, but there's a lot of ignorance regarding this one. A couple minutes before sunrise, then you leave Muzdalifah and you start heading towards Mina. Now you are which day? 10th. Now you're on the 10th of Zulhijjah, 10th day, Yawmun Nahar, the day of sacrifice, the day of Eid. We are now at number 6, back to Mina. Bidayah to Mina, Mina starts here. Okay, 4 acts to be performed. First is you go do the pelting 7 times. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, Ridan lil Rahman, wa Rajman lil Shaitan. To please the Rahman and to displease the Shaitan. You perform this Rami. And then the sacrifice. You will get the call from your agent that he has sacrificed the animal on your behalf. After the sacrifice is done, then you shave the head or trim the hair, halaq or qasar, shaving or trimming hair. Then you'll make tawaf. You'll rest. You can do it in the night, between the 10th and 11th, or on the 11th, or on the 12th. You have to make the tawaf ziyarah. The nahar or halaq, qasar and tawaf, all of these things must be performed within the 3 days, 10th, 11th and 12th. And we should do it in sequence. First you do the rami, pelting, then the slaughter, then the trimming of the hair. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, we remember, they say run hat, ra, noon, ha, ta, or rami, nahar, halaq, tawaf, rami, nahar, halaq, tawaf. This is the order. You have to maintain the order. There is some ikhtilaf about this, in case you hear other opinions. The Quranic ayat is very clear. وَلَا تَحْلِقُوا رُؤُوسَكُمْ. Do not shave your heads. حَتَّى يَبْلُغَ الْحَجُّ مَحِلَّهُ. Until your sacrifice is done. So what happened is the first Hajj, people confused it. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they shaved their head and then they did sacrifice. They came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "If'al wala haraj." It's okay, go ahead, there is no problem. Now this, the Hanafi fuqaha state, this was the first Hajj of Islam and people were confused, so he said this time it's okay. But he was not cancelling the ayah of the Quran. Because the Quranic ayat is very clearly says, it must be in order. People didn't know, so he said it's fine this time. Whereas the Hanbali and Shafi'iyya, they say that he said it's no problem, so it's okay. You can do it in any order. In case you hear people saying the order is not necessary, that's the Shafi'i and Hanbali opinion. The Hanafi opinion is from Surah Al-Baqarah. وَلَا تَحْلِقُوا رُؤُوسَكُمْ. Do not shave your head حَتَّى يَبْلُغَ الْحَدْيُ مَحِلَّهُ. Until the sacrifice is done. Mina has 3 tall pillars. There's known as Jamarat. Jamar Aqaba is the big one, Wusta, middle, Sughra, small one. They are not shayateen. They're concrete pillars. And shaitan is not trapped inside, that you're beating the shaitan. This is just marking the place where Ibrahim a.s. was tested. And Ibrahim a.s. actually threw the stones at the real shaitan. And we are replicating that. reenacting that. So there are multiple levels. First level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level, then on the roof. This is the small one, then the middle one, and this is the big one. You will see these three protrusions on the roof from the top all the way through all these levels. People who are doing Hajj for the first time, this is something they might have heard horror stories that people die, stampedes. It is absolutely, after this happened many years now, this is not even a new thing, this happened over like 10 years now or more since this has been built, these bridges, and it's one-way traffic. It's absolutely super, super easy. No difficulty at all. All the horror stories you heard is from before the bridges were built. And there's multiple levels, and it's people would go and pelt for 1, 2, 3, and then come back. People are going and coming back the same way. No, it's not. It's long chakkar, long circle, but it's one way. You come in, you have to do 1, 2, 3, then you walk around and come back. You cannot walk back. There's an army standing there. No one allows you to go back the same way you came. So it's just one-way traffic, and it's so easy, so easy. Every year I tell the people, don't worry, it's going to be so easy. That they don't believe it. They're still so anxious. After that, they said, that's it? It's so easy. I said, yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Why you didn't believe me? It's very easy. It's going to be so calm. You can go walk up in Hajj. When I told you Hajar Aswad, I told you it's crazy there. It's not like Hajar Aswad. It's not like Tawaf. It's easier than making Tawaf with the Kaaba. It's easier than Sa'i. There's no rush. You just go slow. But there's some ways of doing it. When you come right in the beginning of the pillar, everyone rushes there. Don't go there. Continue walking past. Come to the end of the pillar and do the stoning at the end. There'll be absolutely no rush there. You can go up to the pillar. Then they have this big foam barriers to protect you. You can go up to the foam, stand calmly, pelt one. No one's going to touch you, push you. Pelt the second one, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Make the niyyah, oh Allah, just like you protected Ibrahim and Ismail and Hajar from shaitan, protect me and my wife and my children from shaitan. You walk past the initial rush towards the end of the Jamrah, and you do it at the end. Don't do it in the beginning. This is the aerial view of the Jamarat bridge. Here is 1, 2, 3. This is the first Jamrah, middle one, small one, middle one, big one. The big one is towards Makkah. So this shows you the Jamrah in between and the people around it. This is a big enclosure. So they widen the diameter of that, and then they funnel all the stones down into the particular area. So it made it much easier. Rami is wajib, men must pelt it, and women as well. It's sunnah to say Allahu Akbar every time you throw it. The talbiyah, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, terminates at this time. Just like it terminated in Umrah when you started the Tawaf, in Hajj it terminates when you start the Rami. As long as the pebbles land within the enclosure, it counts as valid. There's no extra reward in throwing shoes, throwing umbrellas, and showing anger and shaitan. So you'll have these crazy people coming cursing, Saleh aapne, this, that, kitna sataya, aaj aap khair nahi, stuff like that. You should not do that. Do not stop or make dua at the big pillar after pelting. Keep moving. It's sunnah to pelt with the right hand. One to throw the pebbles one at a time, not all together with one hand, but one at a time, 7. Okay, the Jamrah Aqaba, the 10th Zulhijjah, only the Jamrah Aqaba, the big pillar, will be pelted 7 times. The timing for that is before sunrise is makruh. Why? You're supposed to be in Muzdalifah. Sunrise to midday. In the morning you can do it. Just on the 10th, when you're coming from Muzdalifah, you can do the pelting in the morning. This will not be the case on 11th and 12th. On the 10th, remember, when you're coming from Muzdalifah, you can do the pelting in the morning, sunnah. Midday to sunset is permissible, and then after sunset to Fajr is disliked. You don't do it in the night time, you do it in the day. Previously in the old books, if you're reading, the fuqaha will state, oh, so much rush in the day, life is is in danger, so you do it at night. That is not applicable anymore because it's so easy in the day, you don't have to do it at night. Better do it in the day. This, in fact, is written here as well. Due to the crowd, it is permissible to delay in pelting. I think this is, it's still permissible, but it's not recommended anymore. You can do it easily in the day. However, it must be done by Fajr. You know what? This is one thing unique. In our deen, in the Sharia calendar, the night comes before the day. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَخْشَى, then وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى. So when we say Laylatul Jum'ah, the Friday night, which one is that? What we call in America, in the Gregorian calendar, Thursday night is the night of Jum'ah. The night comes first, then the day. That's the order in the Sharia, with the exception, one exception. Which exception? In Hajj. In Hajj, if you do the pelting between the 10th and the 11th in the night, will it count for the 10th or will it count for the 11th? It will count for the 10th. When you do between the 11th and 12th in the night, normally you would say this is the night of the 12th, but it'll be the night of it'll count for the 11th. Do you see what I'm saying? Like in Ramadan, when you say 27th night, which day is that? 26th fast is the 27th night, right? But only exception to this rule is in Mina, the night follows the day, not that the night comes before the day. On the 10th of Zulhijjah, only pelt the biggest pillar 7 times. We did this. 11th, 12th, and 13th, you do each pillar 7 times. You make dua after pelting the smallest in the middle. This is because sunnah. When you pelt the small one, you stop on the side and make dua. Then you pelt the middle one, you stop at the side and make dua. When you pelt the big one at the end, you don't stop and make dua, you continue on. It's wajib to perform the animal sacrifice on the 12th of Zulhijjah in the Haram boundary. This is not the qurbani everyone else is doing at home. That's different. That's the wajib to do qurbani for all the people in India, Pakistan, America, everywhere throughout the world. That's not wajib upon you because you're a musafir. If you're in Hajj, you're a musafir, so that's not wajib. This is another one, separate one. This is called Damu Shukr. This is the qurbani that you're doing to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you were able to do Hajj and Umrah together in one trip. Allah ta'ala says, فَمَن تَمَتَّعَ بِالْعُمْرَةِ إِلَى الْحَجِّ فَمَا اسْتَيْسَرَ مِنَ الْهَدِيِ. Whoever does Hajj tamattu', because of this blessing, he has to do one dam of shukr, one goat or 1/7 of a cow. What does that mean? When I said you'll say, what's the difference? You didn't do that one, you have to do this one. Yeah, but what about the one who's neither here nor there? Is ifrad. He is a traveler, so he doesn't have the normal qurbani. He didn't do tamattu', so he doesn't have the dam of shukr. So which qurbani does he do? None. There is no qurbani for the one who is mufrid. If he wants to do nafal qurbani, he can, but it's not wajib. Which one are we doing? Many people maybe not have noticed this point before. The normal qurbani is not happening. That's because you are musafir. Which one is this? For tamattu'. That's why it's called damu shukr. Is wajib upon those performing tamattu' or qiran. What is excluded? Ifrad is excluded. The one who is doing only Hajj without an Umrah, he doesn't have a qurbani. The animal slaughters are usually arranged by the group because it's hard to go to the madbaha and the slaughterhouse. In the past it was easier. If you can do it yourself, that's great, or you can have someone do it on your behalf. Then you have to shave the head, it's wajib, or trim it. And now you come out of ihram. This is called hilla sughra, minor coming out of ihram, not complete. All the restrictions of ihram, sewn clothes, perfume, everything is fine, with the exception of intimate relations with one spouse. Still haram until completion of tawaf al-ziyarah. After tawaf al-ziyarah, that will become permissible as well. Tawaf al-ziyarah is farad. What is farad in whole Hajj? Arafat and tawaf al-ziyarah, 2. It has to be done between the 10th and the 12th. 10, 11, 12, one of these 3 days. It's preferable to do it after you do your halaq. And until tawaf ziyarah is not performed, a person cannot be intimate with their spouse. They're wearing clothes, they're wearing perfume, but they cannot be intimate until the tawaf ziyarah is not performed. For women, every element of Hajj can be performed in menses, in Hayd, except tawaf. So pelting, Arafat, Mina, everything she can do in Hayd. She cannot only do tawaf. If a woman cannot perform tawaf ziyarah due to Hayd, then there is no penalty for her in delaying it, even if she does it after its time is passed. So if she delays it past the 12th and 13th, if a man delays it, he has to give dam for delaying. If a woman delays it because of Hayd, there is no dam. Sa'i is a wajib. It's not farad, it's wajib. Preferred time for the sa'i is after tawaf ziyarah. After tawaf is the preferred time. What it means preferred? You have to do one sa'i for Hajj. It's preferred to do it now. If you want to prepone it, I don't want to give you unnecessary confusing ideas, but I just want to explain why it says preferred time. फिर आप पूछेंगे उसके अलावा और कौन सा वक्त है? What other time is it? What means is after you're done your ihram for Hajj, if you want to do your sa'i of Hajj earlier, you can do it earlier. But the nature of sa'i is such that you can never do it on its own. So you would have to do one tawaf and do your sa'i of Hajj. So then when you do your tawaf of ziyarah on the 10th, you just do the tawaf, you don't have to do sa'i. But it's not recommended to do that. It's only permissible to do that. When you're performing the sa'i after tawaf of ziyarah, then you will perform ramal in the first 3 rounds. What does ramal mean? Walking fast. This means if you're performing the sa'i after tawaf, if you already did your sa'i by preponing it, then you don't do ramal. Because what's the rule? You only do ramal and istiba when you're wearing ihram in that tawaf which is followed by sa'i. This sa'i can be performed any of the Hajj days. You can do it on the 8th. You can do it on the 8th as well. On the 9th you'll be in Arafat. But you can do it on the 8th. On condition it follows the tawaf. You have to do an additional tawaf just to prepone the sa'i. So it's no point. Just do it the sunnah way. Okay? Don't be confused about it. Just do it the sunnah way. When are you going to do it? After tawaf of ziyarah. All the rules of ihram now uplifted after tawaf of ziyarah. Your ihram is complete now. It is sunnah to still spend the night in Mina. The night between 10 and 11 and 11 and 12. On the 11th, whatever you missed, you should try to make it up. Meaning, if you haven't done your qurbani, you can still have time for qurbani. If you haven't done your tawaf, ziyarah, still do it on today. What is additional new thing on the 11th? Is rami of all the 3 jamarat is wajib. Start from the small, medium, then large. Smallest to largest. Now on the 11th and 12th when you do the rami, you cannot do it in the morning. The timing begins after zawal. The first day I told you on the 10th you can do it in the morning. But now moving forward from the 11th you have to do it only after zawal to sunset. If it's difficult to do it in the day, you can do it in the night. Rami is not permissible before zawal. Now this is where if you see people doing it, you don't follow them, that's incorrect. Return to one's tent after completion, continue to do ibadat. 12th is the exact same as the 11th. Perform rami after zawal. If you haven't done your qurbani yet, still time. If you haven't done tawaf ziyarah yet, still time. Last day. Now, on the 12th, people think that you have to rush out before Maghrib. If you stay after Maghrib, then you're mandated to stay 13th. That's wrong. It's actually, if you continue to stay on the 12th, it becomes makruh to leave. But it becomes haram, you must stay. It's only if you stay until the time of Fajr. It says, if one does not leave Mina and stays there until Fajr on the 13th, then Rami becomes wajib on the 13th. Then you cannot leave Mina until you do the Rami on the 13th. It's mustahab and desirable to spend an additional day. On the 13th, in the morning is permissible, just like on the 10th, the first day and the last day. It's permissible during the morning, but after Zawal, it's recommended. The time of pelting ends with the sunset. When a person is leaving Mina, You should leave before sunset on the 12th, but it's permissible to leave after sunset, like I mentioned earlier. Mina ends here. Now we're done with Mina, number 6. We're back to Makkah, number 7. What's left from Hajj? Tawaf al-Wada', farewell tawaf. Back to Makkah. Tawaf al-Wada' is wajib. You can perform it any time after Tawaf al-Ziyarah. What is important here is, people have this concept that it has to be the absolute last thing. So sometimes they're holding up the bus going to the airport. Why? They're still doing Tawaf al-Wada'. No. Sometimes people have the concept that after they do Tawaf al-Wada', there shouldn't be any farad salah between that and they're leaving. No, that's not the case. You can do it anytime after Tawaf al-Ziyarah, after the 10th, even on the 11th, on the 12th, you can go and do a Tawaf al-Wada'. After that, if you have opportunity to do further Nafil Tawaf, that's great. After that, if you have Salat in the Haram, that's great. It doesn't have to be your last thing. Don't delay it so much that it becomes a problem. If a woman is in Hayd and cannot do Tawaf al-Wada', she is excused from performing it. She doesn't have to make it up. Tawaf al-Ziyarah, she's not excused. Tawaf al-Wada', she's excused. There's no penalty in missing it. Even after you do Tawaf al-Wada', can I go back to the masjid? Oh, I did my Tawaf al-Wada'. Yes, you can. Sometimes people think they can't go back to the Masjid al-Haram because they already did the Tawaf al-Wada'. That's not the case. They can perform Tawaf, they can perform Salah. You can even do an Umrah. This is a whole detail of jinayat, dumb penalties. I want to skip this because that is depending on specific circumstances. If you have done a violation, you can ask the muftis in the group, and we'll go over that. Now we have the questions that have been texted. If you had texted questions, I'm looking at them now. In case you're wondering, am I ignoring it? There's quite a few questions. Was this when I was stepped out in the between, were any of these questions answered? How about, you mentioned you can wear glasses. Can you wear contacts during Hajj? Was it answered? No. Contacts is permissible. Can you use olive oil or coconut oil as moisturizer during Hajj or not? No, because of possible scent. You can use, if there's no scent added, the natural olive oil, natural coconut oil without any added scent is permissible. Women are permitted to change clothes freely during Ihram? Yes. Undergarments and outerwear? Yes. I hope you're getting the answers, whoever asked this. I'm going through the answers on the Skype that were asked on the, texted to the masjid. Assalamu alaikum. I wanted to know, during Hajj days, can women take off hijab in bathroom for wudu and retie hair if they become loose without combing? Yeah, it's better that you keep the hair tightly tied and covered so that none of the hairs keep on falling out. Because if the hairs fall out, then that would be a violation of ihram. And but technically, yes, it is permissible, as long as you are in a concealed area and your hair is not going to be exposed to men. Can we wear any belt or undergarment while tawaf? In tawaf, you can wear full clothes as well. It's a matter of when you're in tawaf, if you're in ihram or not. So, if you are in ihram, you can wear a belt, but you cannot wear undergarment unless you have urination problem, that your drops of urine are coming. Then you can wear something and give a kafara for that. Can I apply medical tape in the state of ihram? If it's required, then you can apply it and then give kafara. If not required, then you cannot not permitted. Salam, do we shorten prayers? This was already answered. If you're staying less than 15 days, you will shorten prayers. If you're praying behind the imam, you'll do full prayers. If you're staying more than 15 days, you will perform full prayers. How can I purify my heart to make a sincere dua? I try to cry in dua, but I cannot cry. How can I prepare myself? So this is to continue to do the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Try to protect yourself from disobedience of Allah. The disobedience of Allah hardens the heart, it makes it difficult to cry. And if you cannot cry, then at least try crying. That will be acceptable by Allah ta'ala as well. Is there any more questions? This is what I have. Yeah, if a tawaf ziyarah is not done and woman is in hayd, then if she does a tawaf ziyarah in hayd, and then she will have to give a qurbani of one camel. This is it. This is the answer here. I skipped this one. Badana penalty, which means a complete camel. Number 2, performing tawaf ziyarah in the state of major impurity. So this woman will perform the tawaf ziyarah before she catches her flight, and she will give 1 camel. If she leaves, then she will